Good night, good night, good night, opposition. This is the Marcia Week Show, and you are watching right here. Actually, we're coming to you live from Barbados. This is the Marcia Week Show, and we are coming to you live from Barbados. I am Marcia Weeks, and it is my honor. It is my honor to serve you, wonderful people in Barbados and the Caribbean in this way. It is an honor. It is an honor. It is an honor. I tell you, guys, I want to talk to you tonight about perseverance before we even get going. And as you're coming in, I see people are coming in, and I want to say to you guys, you are an example of what perseverance is. That's what you are. You are an example of perseverance. You are like, that little engine that could, not letting go, not stopping. You're holding on. You're holding on. And what are you holding on to? It's the hope and the dream that you have for your country. And that's what you're holding on to. You found something and you've held on to it. And that's what it is all about. Now, before I even go any further, I've got to welcome everybody that's on. Heathcliff. Heathcliff. Oh my goodness. Heathcliff has been on from 6:25. That's what you call perseverance, determination, commitment. 6:25 p.m. And she's doing this because of her country. She's doing this because there is something inside of her telling her that there is greatness in her country, greatness in herself as well, and that Barbados can be that lighthouse for something good, right? And there is a hope in her heart for her country, that patriotism, that love of country that is driving Heathcliff to join. And I'm seeing Raekwon Quelly. Raekwon Quelly is on. Oh my goodness, is that another language? Sawubona? What does that mean? Welcome, Philip C. Welcome. Yes, Philip C. We're going to deal with that issue that you're talking about. We're going to talk about that, Philip C. I think you are onto something there. We're going to chat about that. Queen McQueenist. Queen McQueenist, welcome, 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 welcome. Patriotic Barbadian. Yes, loyal daughter 66. Yes, that's you. And we are logged on tonight because we have a hope and a dream for our country. And we believe that change can come to Barbados. And change coming to Barbados begins with me. It begins with us, each and every one of us. Vicky Bryan, hello, everyone. She says, good night. Yes, 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 yes. ADG, good night. Kamar. Good night, all opposition members and leaders. I tell you. And I love how you say that, because we are all leaders. We're all leaders. Because I'm sitting here doesn't mean that I have all the answers. Because I'm sitting here doesn't mean that I know how it is supposed to work and what is supposed to happen. We are all leaders. We are all leaders. Hi, Kamar. And Kamar is in the diaspora. And I want to take some time to welcome those in the diaspora, those watching from all of, different countries outside of Barbados. I want to welcome you and thank you for your support of this beautiful country, this gem, this gem. And I know that it's a sacrifice each time that you log on. Sometimes, even those that are logging on who are from the UK, I know that you watch it very late at night, because I would get up in the, guys, the viewership of this the viewing audience for this show increases overnight, like doubles overnight. And I believe it's those from the UK that are watching, those in the diaspora. And I want to give a very special shout out that you might not be live with us, but we know you are watching from the UK. We know you are doing that. Llewellyn Eiffel, good night. Good night. We're going to talk about the most controversial lady of 2023. Well, if that is the title they give to me because I'm standing up on behalf of the people, well, I guess I'm guilty. Oh my goodness. Clive Osborne. Good night. Good night. Sir Alfred Benjamin from Brooklyn, NYC. Yes. ADG. ADG, yes. They say I am controversial. I am controversial. I was shocked. I didn't know I was controversial. We're gonna talk about that. Mr. Maximus, I see you there. I see you there, Mr. Maximus. Good night, good night, good night, good night, Judith and Clark. Monique Inns, good night. Natasha Hope. Natasha, I heard you went to do the placards. Is it you? Is this the same Natasha? Oh, wonderful. Look up. That's it. That's it. We're looking up and we have hope, and that's why we're logged on. Jefferson Sobers, good night. Oswald Newton, CG, you're home. CG says, good evening, all. I got a placard for everybody. Believe me, this woman goes down to Caswell's office, CG, and she works on these placard. And she was down there with another um, uh, member of the opposition. I can't mention names, um, but she was down there with them. And Dave and I, we went down today. Kimar and his girlfriend were down today. Of course, it's Caswell's place, so he was there. And, we were doing our little bit, but CG is a woman behind the placard, and she is fantastic. I don't think, her ideas, I said to her, I could never do that. I'm doing my part. And that's the thing about it. We're part of the opposition, but we're each doing our part and volunteering, as I am doing. This is a volunteer work for me here. And CG goes down and volunteers, and all the other people that go down with her. There is Colin Clark and Bajan Brit. All from the UK. Man, you're not sleeping. Oh my goodness. Hey, Bridget, and she is on because, as I said, there is a hope, there is a love, there's a love for country, and we want to see change. We are hungry for change. We're hungry for change in Barbados. If you're hungry for change, let me see thumbs up. Hungry for change, let me see thumbs up, and not just thumbs up, but I want you to like the broadcast tonight. Go ahead and like the broadcast tonight. You're hungry for change, like the broadcast. The thumbs up, click that thumbs up. Click the thumbs up. Yes. Oh my goodness, Nigel Newton, what am I saying? Good night. I want to say good night. Good night, Nigel Newton. And we are going to hear from Nigel on Friday. Nigel has a special presentation. You see, that's why I'm saying contact us, guys. You have something you want to present, contact us. Nigel worked on his presentation. He's going to talk about governance. And so Nigel is going to be doing a presentation on Friday. And it says, we won't surrender to an inept parliament and dictatorial, misguided prime minister. And he's correct. We're not surrendering. Adrian Hines from Rhode Island. Great to see you again, my brother. Always love your commentary. And there is a Mark Clark. Mark Clark, good night, Mark Clark. I saw you today. I won't say where I saw you, but I saw you today. Keep up the good work. Galbiz, good night, Galbiz. Good night, Faithful. Emerson Bob, good night. Trevor Chase. Oh, and Emerson Bob is watching from the UK. I have to give a big, big, big shout out to those in the diaspora. They left Barbados, but it doesn't mean that Barbados left their hearts. They're hungry for change as well. And I respect the diaspora. I remember I was living in I was part of the diaspora at one time. I respect the diaspora. And I'm one of them that believe the diaspora should vote. Don't shoot me, Caswell, but I believe the diaspora should vote. They send on barrels. Yes. They send Western Union money to Western Union. They're helping this economy. They're part of building the economy. And so they should vote. Trevor Chase, good night. Good night, good night, good night, good night. Boston, you're watching from Boston. Okay, wonderful. And I know we're going on and welcoming people. I think it's important that we do this because this is a sacrifice of everybody who's on. And when you come on, it's really a testament that you are saying that, you know what, I believe in change for Barbados. I believe that we can work together. And we are coming together on this platform to promote change. We have hope for Barbados. We are the loyal sons and daughters from wherever we are in the world. And we're committed to change, and we're committing to put our hands together and our heads together to come up with solutions for Barbados. And we are committed to be a voice to the voiceless in Barbados. We're committed to being the opposition. We're committing to speaking out. That's what we're doing. Rachel Britt is saying that she knows or he knows that they should be sleeping, but this is worth it. Raikwan Kweli, it says Sawabono is Zulu, meaning I see you. Yes, I see you. That's lovely. Tracy Barrow. Good night, Tracy. Good night, Tracy. Good night, good night, good night to everybody who is on. Oh, my Lord, people are joining. Pauline, Jeffrey Sobers, Charles Atkins, Callie B. Welcome, welcome. And are we sharing? Are we sharing? Charles Atkins, welcome. Yes, remittances is quite often the only real growth that a Caribbean islander registers. Correct. Correct. Very important. So you need to have a say in what happens in your country. Yeah. Yes. Automotive parts saying I do believe they should. How are you going, automotive parts? Give me a call. Give me a call. Give me a WhatsApp me and let me know how you're doing. Yes. 8787. Yes. Guys, tonight we want to celebrate. I wanted to take the time. I know I went over the time in calling out names, etc., etc. But and welcoming people, but I want to celebrate you tonight. I want to celebrate the opposition. I want to celebrate the opposition because of your perseverance. I could open up my computer, myself and Caswell, and we could come on here, Kimar, etc. And there's nobody here. Without you, there's no Marcia Week show. Without you, there's no opposition. The four of us cannot carry it. But when we open up our computers and when we are our devices and we come on, you are here. Many times you are here before I even get here. So I want to celebrate you tonight. I want to celebrate you. Yeah, because it is because of you. I believe that Barbados is listening. Do you think so? I believe that Barbadians are waking up. I believe that Barbadians are not believing the narrative that we are trying to destroy this country. You remember when they were saying that we were being a nuisance? I believe that Barbadians are understanding what this is all about. You know what else I believe? I believe that Barbadians are deciding that they will not line up behind colors anymore. Barbadians are now understanding that they need to demand representation from their members of parliament. I believe that that is what is happening. And I want to celebrate you tonight. Every single one of you. I remember I used to come on here and there were 30 people on for the entire show. Yes, the entire show. And a lot of you are still watching me from that time till now. And I celebrate you. Sometimes we come on, we only have 200 persons on. Sometimes we have 300. Sometimes we have four. In the last couple of shows, we have, a lot more than that. It doesn't matter the number. The point is that we have some committed people who believe in change, who believe in change. And they are joining. They're joining this revolution. And this is a revolution not of physical weapons, but of us using our will, of us using our mind, of us using our soul, our connection with Barbados. The memory of what Barbados has done for us, the memory of what Barbados has done for our ancestors. And we're saying to our officials, we demand more. We demand more. And that's all that we're saying. Winston, hey, Winston, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Good to see you. And I want to acknowledge Winston for his work. Winston Clark is as one of those activists that I'm telling you, he doesn't, I have to say, he doesn't sleep. Winston serves the community, and I want to acknowledge Winston tonight. The work that he does in the community. Yeah. I believe, yes, Kamar is saying, I believe you're correct. Martin's body language at that press conference spoke to her slow realization that her grip is slipping. And I would like her to realize more than that her grip is slipping. I want her to realize how educated we are as a people and how we understand exactly what is happening. And I want her to come to that realization that we are not going to sit by and allow Barbados to be destroyed, the foundations of our country to be destroyed. I believe a change is coming. Yes, loyal daughter. And I want her to realize that. I would like our Prime Minister, Mia Amor Motley, to realize that a change is coming. This is important. This is too important for us. There are times, yes, I want to give up sometimes, Adrian. Adrian is saying, Marcia, there are times I want to give up or ask myself, why bother? I don't live there. But something keeps me coming back and contributing. Oh my goodness, that's it, Adrian. Love of country runs deep. I can't get away from it. That is it. That is it. Sometimes I said, but what happened? I thought we were further than this. And I tell you something. The moment we decide, Barbadians, we are the most, on paper, we are the most educated and in the Caribbean. And I want us to begin to acknowledge that and to walk in that and walk into that realization. And the moment that we understand that there is no need to line up behind a color. If we continue to line up behind a color of a party, we will destroy the foundations of Barbados. The moment that we realize that being partisan is not going to help us. I've been in Barbados for over 22, 23 years. And I voted in Barbados. The only place I voted in my entire life. That's why I tell you I am a Bajan. And as someone said the other night, you will not convince me otherwise. You could say all you want to say. You could say write all the things you want to write and the nasty messages you want to send me. It's not going to change anything. Because I know who I am. But this is the first place that I voted, and I voted for so many different parties. I sit down and I look at what is happening in the country. I read, I read, and I listen, and I pray about it and decide on who I'm going to vote for. And I think we need to bring ourselves at that place. And that's the only way we're going to see real change in here. Don't vote your heritage. Don't tell me that your grandmother always line up behind red, and my auntie was always behind blue or yellow. Huh? Absolutely not. And because if we would just divorce ourselves from party right now and be honest, let's be honest. Let's become like Ralph Thorne. Let's be a Ralph Thorne then. Huh? Because you might have said, well, I voted this way all my life, right? But let's be let okay, fine, but pull away from it and be able to look at it critically. And this is what you're getting a lot of in Barbados: apathy. Automotive parts, and I'm not voting again. People may say different, but I am not. I got up of my sick bed and went and vote, and now I'm in need of one simple item and hear the word of excuses and other issues. And there are a lot of Barbadians like that. And honestly, I wouldn't even, I'm not going to try to dissuade anybody. People are going to make up their minds, because everybody wouldn't have to know the kind of abuse that they have gone through by the hands of these politicians. Yes, I believe a change is going to come. It's either the ones that are in office are going to change, or all of them will have to leave. But one way or the other, a change is coming. Huh? You believe that we're a country, Peterway. This is a country, and we have right now we have a constitution that they've put in place to just to bide the time between when we're independent to becoming a republic. And all of this time we have not had that new constitution, and Barbadians are going around and partying and think as though nothing is wrong. Huh? These are some of the issues that we have. There's so many. There are so many, and I'm like, it's like you can't there is no way that we can keep quiet. Someone says here, the reality is in Barbados we all loosely support one of the two parties. However, we must recognize and call out dishonesty and corruption, no matter which party is at the helm. That's what I'm trying to say tonight to us guys. That's what you see on the screen. What if what if Danville needed to go to prison, and everybody was putting that on their Facebook at that time? Why is it that when others do similar acts that you believe that they should get away with it? People say we need to move on and telling us case closed. Do you understand what happened in that scenario? Without any proper investigation, the leader of the country, who has a complete of all the seats, imagine that for a moment, comes to you and tells you the case is closed on this. This is a leader who knows that there's no opposition. Where is the integrity? Where is the policing of themselves? I would think that because we know we don't have any opposition, right? This is what I would think. Let's reason, Joseph. Let's reason. I would think that the prime minister would say, well, you know what? Let's get an independent investigation into this. Let's do an independent investigation. Seeing that we don't have, there's nobody here in the opposition. Yeah, that is what, that to me is what would be a reasonable position. That doesn't mean that the person is guilty, but there is a perception. And if the people who you govern are having a problem with it, then you've got to stop. You have to look at it. Yeah. Adrian is saying there's nothing wrong with supporting a political party or any entity. There's something fundamentally wrong to do so, no matter what. That is the problem. How are we planning to see change in this country when you're going to tell me, right, that the rest of us that don't support the government, we're going to starve, and that you are so against if anybody you try to disgrace them online. You know how many, I mean, people on social media, if I were to listen to them when I started to speak up, I wouldn't continue. They told me, how dare you write against the prime minister? How dare you? One man told me, don't you ever mention in your mouth again the name of Mayor Motley or Sancho Bradshaw. You believe that? So you know what I did? Underneath my post, I probably wrote their names about 10 more times to let him see. Because you can't shut me up. What do you mean you're going to shut me up? This process that we are going through here, Barbados, this process that we are going through here, and I'm not sure why I'm not seeing my guests are coming on. What's going on with my guests? Let's see if we find out what the problem is with my guests, why they're not coming on. Yeah. Now, yeah, there is no way anybody, and don't you ever let anybody try to shut you up. Do not, when they were coming to my house and begging me for my vote, right? When they were coming here, knocking me on my house and waking me up to beg me for my vote, that was okay. But we are getting ourselves educated, and we are losing this kind of allegiance to these colors. We're adults. We're adults here. We're losing this allegiance to colors, and we're speaking our minds. And we're saying, I don't care what color my grandmother lined up behind and my auntie, right? And how many times I voted for this color for how many years. If what you're presenting does not look viable to me for Barbados, I am not voting for you. And worse yet, the member of the different MPs. I want to tell you all something here. If you are in my constituency here in St. Philip and you have done nothing in this constituency, do not come to my house. And you all know, those of you running in the area, you know where I live. Because I'm telling you, I might just start to water my plants. I might just decide that I'm going to water my plants. You understand what I'm telling you? So this is we are becoming an educated electorate, is what this is all about. Educated so you can ask the right questions. You don't go to town hall and don't let anybody give you questions to ask at no town hall meeting and talk about they having town hall meeting. Go there with your own questions and stand up on your own 2 feet in your nice clean clothes and ask your questions yourself. Yes, Sir Alfred, the Barbadian citizens, they love the politicians, but the politicians don't care about them, right? Buying the citizens with cheap talk to get votes. A whole lot of sweet talk. Yeah. Okay, I see my people coming in. Now I want to talk to you. Yes, they find all the back roads and nooks and crannies at election time. Some of them in here, coming in here, I gave them ideas from my community. They don't call me back because they don't want me. They don't want to work. They don't want to work. I must go outside and I must walk with them through my community. Who, me? Walk with them in which community? Me. Walk and be and join with you and fool the people in my community. Me. Do not come and ask me anything like that. Don't ask me to walk with you in no community. Huh? I will never do that to the Barbadian people. I will never make a stooge out of them. I tell you that now. Me. When you have ideas of what you could do in the community, and there's no connection with this community, but all of a sudden you're gonna come say you're running in the community, please go sit down. Go and sit down. And all of you third parties, we sending out a message. And don't you tell me that I'm against the third parties, because every time I speak about a party, then they say I'm against. Listen, I was a person who used my platform to promote the third parties the last time that there was the last time there was election. Don't forget. But I learned my lesson well, because I realized those people, a lot of them, when I tried to contact them afterwards, they said, come onto the program and let's hear what you're doing in the community. You don't see them. You don't see them. The people turn up to say they're, and by the time election done, they're gone. I understand the discouragement, and I understand that you might not have a lot of money, but it doesn't, what I'm talking about doesn't need a lot of money. We come on here. Nobody pay us, you know. No, I haven't heard a third party that called me and said, Marcia, I have an issue that I need to discuss. I don't hear one call me. Yeah? I don't hear one of them call me, but I think my it seems though my panel is ready. Let me see if they have to give me a nod. I don't want to bring them on. And okay, I've seen a thumbs up there. Yes, right. So those of you, it's not. I just wanted you to know, to share my heart with you, and I want to. My big job offer. Look at what this person's saying, Mr. Frank. Really, to silence me.
You see,
Silence me.
People expect that.
Mr. Franklin, you're low. Is it me or is it my computer is low?
Um, my volume
Yes,
is up.
it's better now. It's better now.
Yeah, you see, people will think I'm getting echo. Hear me now? Hear me good?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Good.
We're hearing you.
You see, people expect that because that is the modus operandi of corrupt politicians. They try to buy everybody, and they feel that everybody has their price. And they're saying, and I've heard people say, man, everybody got his price. I know I got a price, and I've told them what my price is already. But my price is salvation. If they can offer that, I will take it. But I'm taking nothing less. Because You
But you
know,
know,
when you sell your soul for the sake of the politicians and they for to get them in office, what do you get in the end? You get a job that will last you for 3, 4 years, depending on how long the politicians give you, and and the next government comes in, they kick you out. Go and find a career. Go and look for a job. Go and study.
correct.
Do not wait until the politicians, your people are in. A lot of these people you were talking about, a lot of these people, when they don't get the kind of notice they want in the two main parties, they get disgruntled and form a third party.
Yes.
And that is the problem. They don't have any real commitment. Because if you were committed to the people, you will be out there talking with them, not when it's only election time. I don't want to promote any person, but he's out of office. He's out of politics now. Ronald Topping would win the election, let's say Monday. And Tuesday, he was back in the constituency talking to people, telling them thanks. And you will see him every weekend. Unless he was out of the island, he would be there talking to his people. He knew most people in his constituency by name. And he knew what their problems were, even if he didn't solve a lot of them, but he knew what the problems were. And politicians now think that getting into the house is a means to an end. And their end is to get comfortable living after they reach age 50. And if you are lucky enough to get a ministry, you could always get a few $7,500 checks to help boost up your income as well. So that's it. You know, these people are not committed. I see, like, we had a man, it's called Hamilton Lashley. He is probably the poorest politician Barbados ever had. Because if Hamila had $10 and you asked him for it, you got it. Then he was gonna borrow from somebody to get home. You know, he was that type of fella. You know, I remember, I don't want to talk his business, but I remember once they said that he was out there giving people contracts to do or using the government money to buy hampers for his thing. I said, damn true. I knew it wasn't true. And when I saw him, I told him how you know it ain't true. Because I approved the loan. That was in the credit committee. He went borrow money. He even begged nobody for the $7,500. He went and borrowed money for his people. All right?
Yeah.
So he was committed. He wanted to make his people better. He was one of the last people like to call grassroots politicians. He was one of the last, if not the last. The rest just come in. You look, you see, you don't see politicians now going into the constituency doing community work like how Keith Simmons did. Keith Simmons had the summer camps and all kind of stuff, and then he got into politics because that gave him a boost, and then he couldn't beat him. But these fellas now want getting at the top. They don't want to do any work. They only their eyes is on how much their eyes are on how much money they can get for their salary, how much kickbacks they can get, and that is the type of politician that we have spawned. And then they feel, let me do something. You're giving a fella $200 to vote for you, $200 and $200. You know what? You got a coalition of 6,000 people. You give 1,000 of them $200. You in deficit. So you gotta go look at that money. Mind you, it would have been given to you by the people who want political favors from you, because Barbados is in a completely corrupt society. You Richie Haynes used to talk about a contractor general, so that people will not be able to give you $7,500 and get a contract. Because it had to be, the contractor general would have been an independent person who would award the contracts. But no, government, the ministers have to keep their hands on the contracts. And I can tell you something. It used to be that you can, in the ministry, the permanent secretary or whoever, could award contracts up to $100,000. All right? Because you would get bids from 3 people or so, and you would, you know what the politicians convinced permanent secretaries to do, and permanent secretaries tried to do it. You got a contract for $250,000. They filed bring them in 3 contracts, and give you a contract, $100,000 contract, $100,000 contract, and a $50,000 contract. That is against the law. That's against decency. But nobody ever require our politicians to be decent. So when you asking for these third parties fellas coming in, they're coming in there hoping that the main parties become so unpopular. How the Dems became so unpopular in 2018 and lost all the seats because they were unpopular not only because of their doing, but the propaganda that was spread about them. Because people were so desperate to become MPs, they lied, they cheated, they stole, they tell lies by the administration. Mind you, they were not um, the best administration we ever had, but they were far better than what we got now. And the the Baptist Labour Party, led by Mayor Motley, and not and it's a control by the merchants, made sure the Dems couldn't get a seat because let me do something. I know of situations where people were paid to go and march against businesses closed down their stores and tell them turn up in Queen's Park. And if you turn up in Queen's Park, we will pay you for the day. So you had people now who were Dems but wanted the day's pay and march too. Because they got bribed. And and these people decided, they want the Dems out. And you know why all of them wanted the Dems out? The merchants were the one the Dems out. Something called National Social Responsibility Levy, NSRL. It was a far better tax than all the ones that these people have instituted since they came in. But it meant that the people who do the importing would pay their taxes up front. And you wouldn't rely on them paying VAT and then claiming it back or not paying it in. But you seen this administration move with such alacrity in any other sphere of activity, any other legislation than this one? Man, they promised it gone in a quick so. One of the first things in office was to get rid of that National Social Responsibility Levy, because that is what the merchants in Barbados want is gone, because they do not want to pay any taxes. They've always found a way not to pay them. And this government has decided, well, look, if my rich people ain't paying the taxes, we gotta find somebody who gotta pay them. So they start putting the burden on the taxes on the people at the bottom. They can't. They were supposed to bring down VAT. You remember? They get on there yet? That is the problem. You see, somebody keeps saying that is true, as well. But I don't only want you to tell me it is true. I want you to come out and support all of us on Saturday to show that we are disgusted by these people's behavior. I got an appointment on Saturday, but I can make sure I get there first, and I can ask the people to push back my appointment a little later because I can be there. The only way I am not going to be there, I don't know, it's going to be something traumatic must have happened. But I come in, you know why? Because I think I owe it to the people of this country to come out and support them. You know?
Mr. Franklin, I want to say something to this, to you and the 492 persons that are watching here tonight. I want you to realize something that Barbados today, has rejected our ad. And I'm going to ask, this is the ad for the march, The ad has no expletives in it. You see the ad that we put up. If we could put up the original ad, is one that we sent about the digital, the same one that you had up. The exact wording on the ad, Mr. Franklin, was sent to Barbados today. We paid. They gave us an invoice, and we paid the invoice today in good faith. And we got a message back. I don't know if Dave can put it up, but we just got a message back from them saying, "Hello there, our compliance team has rejected your ad." Please accept your apologies for the inconvenience caused. Accounts will refund you ASAP once you provide us with your account number. What could be in that ad? Mr. Franklin, this is the second time or the third time that Barbados Today has rejected our ad.
You see, they are controlled by the politicians. And don't let anybody fool you. Freedom, press freedom, it's a joke in Barbados. We don't have a free press. We have a press though that sings the government's tune. We got a press that you can't offend the government, because if you do, they would slander, they would lambaste you, they would make sure that you don't get the kind of reporting that you deserve, because they don't want to rock the boat. Because you see this little ad that you put there, right? The government can pay them a lot more money in advertising. So they don't want, if they put that up, the government can pull theirs. I remember years ago, um, this is how it works. I got home one evening, and as soon as I opened my door, I saw this big brown envelope pushed through the crack of my door, and the, the Barbados posted stamp on it, so I know it was a local thing. I picked it up. I didn't even step in the house, I picked it up. And I opened it up, and it was the VAT account for Courts.
Uh-huh.
Courts Barbados Limited. And when I look, court owed something like $30 million in VAT. So I said, good, this looks nice. I am going to take it to the nation. I took it to the nation. Wade Gibbons wrote a story on it. He then he tried to get a comment from the people at Courts, and the people at Courts wouldn't make a comment. All the comment that the fellow made to him was that this money was owed before he got there. It wasn't him. Not that it wasn't owed. It was, and I'm talking about principal, mind you. I ain't talking about no penalties and interest. It was $35 billion that the Courts people received and refused to pay in to the government in VAT. You know, the weird story never came because the people from Courts went down to see Harold Hoyt and threatened him. Harold pulled the story. The only time we found out that story, how we found out that was after then Wade lost his job at the Nation. He then put the story on Facebook. That is how I managed to see that story. So you see, Courts paid $100,000 in advertising every year, $1 million or whatever they pay every year in VAT in advertising. I don't know, but it's a large amount of money, and they could not afford to offend Courts because the newspaper is still a business, and they want to, because the stories in the newspaper don't really fund the newspaper. It is the advertising. So government now got these people on the creek because Barbados today, they're not properly managed, so they're not making the kind of money that they could have or they should, and the advertising is going. They need advertising, and they're rejecting yours. You know what? Because they got a bigger advertiser. Because when you see all those government ads out there, the paper, court ads, and all kinds of stuff, you can make money. So the newspapers are in it. Well, let me say, they're looking after their bottom line. They're reporting. This is the money making business. They want the money, and the government can give them, but you can't use something to offend the government. And the only reason why that is so is because the government let them know it is so. You know, do you think if they were acting properly, the ads come in, you put it in the paper. But no, the government can say, but look, you put in that kind of ads against me, you get no advertising. So they know it. They were told.
But Mr. Franklin, I know Kimar is here, and I'm seeing Honorable Coretta McDonald is on, and I know she was supposed to come on a little earlier, but I think she had some technical issues. But I want us. I'm gonna let her come on, Kimar, in another at 8 o'clock. Okay. But I want us. We need to deal with the situation here because we have our march that is coming up, Kimar, and the march is on Saturday, and what we're doing our due diligence opposition in doing our advertising, right? We are doing the best that we can, and we thought that putting out a Barbados Today ad, we spent the time creating the video and everything. And this is happening now. I'm thinking, Kimar, to say to the 524 of us that's on here tonight, to use their social media. Just ask Barbados Today, why did you ask them the question? Don't make any assumptions. Barbados Today, why did you reject the protest march ad? What do you think about that, Kimar? Good night.
Well, good night, everybody.
You're the crackling sound.
Oh, sorry. Trying to like better now.
Yes.
All right, all right. Good night, everybody. Marcia, Caswell, the loyal
Good
opposition.
night.
Um, good to see you. Uh, happy to be here, seeing all my people here. Um, Barbados today. Well, I mean, at one point in time, my Barbados they carried a lot of stories for me at a personal level, and my business when I usually write, they usually carry these stories. Um, Not so anymore because some people who believe that they are all powerful are called Barbados today. I pressured certain reporters not to write anything for me anymore, and that was at the individual level, right? So I don't see any of my stories whatsoever coming out for Barbados today. At one point, I actually wanted to write stories for Barbados today, um, but that never panned out. Um, but however, I see when I open Barbados today, I see like Kurt Humphrey like in the newspaper like 5 and 6 times a day. I see the Prime Minister in there. I see a lot of government stories in there, so I know that dictatorships and dictatorships, the leaders of dictatorships usually have what you call a propaganda arm, right? And that propaganda arm involves the taking over newspapers. Let's just not forget that they give market vendor a job over in the United States, and market vendor is the owner of a radio station, right? So you could see where the government has a handle on all of the newspapers, all of the radio waves. Um, they even taken over the internet now, on all spheres, try to get people shadow banned. Um, as far as I know, they invested in a guy from I can't remember what country he's from, but this so-called social media tech specialist. He was working overtime to aid the government in terms of its social media. Oh look, but it is dangerous. It is very very dangerous when the fourth estate, they call them, which is the media, is no longer independent. But no, the only money that these newspapers are getting is directly from the government budget, so they will not go against the government, right? How
Right.
come? How come? If the government cares so much about the newspaper, how come they just try to save the Advocate? The Advocate was one of the best newspapers in Barbados, but they're not trying to save it because probably the owners of the Advocate were not Barbados Labour Party supporters, or maybe they couldn't influence the Advocate in the way they wanted to, right? But this is very dangerous, and we need to express great caution if the government attempts to bring a bill through the same Computer Misuse Act. And somebody said that they did it in Canada. When the government would try to and it's happening in Jamaica. Andrew Holness is saying that he wants to regulate his speech on the internet, right? And it is very dangerous when the government no wants to regulate what people say and cannot say on the internet, right? So we need to be very careful and cautious with that.
Yes, and I am gonna try to get this. I've put it in the chat. There's a nonpartisan chat, and anybody can put a note with it and send it out far and wide, right? This is one of the things that we're going to talk about, Barbados, when Honorable Coretta McDonald comes on, because they are seeking to go after social media, or the podcast in Guyana. That's what they're doing with the same Computer Misuse Act, their version of it. So Barbados today needs to be able to tell us what happened, right? Yeah, we need, and the other thing that the 547 of us can do, the other thing that we can do is this, to make sure that we are out there on Saturday. You understand, Kimar? Because that is the point, is that they don't want you out. They don't want us to advertise. Okay? They don't want you to know what is happening. So therefore, let us push back. Push back. We listen. We cannot lay down and play dead. We see that we're in a dictatorship. People, we're in a dictatorship. Straight up. They came out and told us we mustn't talk about this case anymore. It closed without an investigation. Now we're having a march. And one of the largest newspaper here decided that they're not carrying the ad. What is this? What is this? Can't we see what is happening?
Dictatorship, it is called. That's what is happening. And we are these people. You see, the thing is, some of these people are not afraid of Miss Motley. Some of them just want the money that she can guide their way. It is not like a poor fellow that ain't gonna eat tomorrow. But you must remember who owns Barbados today and who gets a lot of government contracts for insurance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the owner of CGI and Bayview and Barbados today is all the same person. So boy, I'm gonna jeopardize my businesses by letting one of the ones that don't make no money, much money for me, go and jeopardize. So that's what it's really about. It's money. You don't see the government put money in Bayview Hospital. You really feel that the QH want fixing up, and you're gonna put money in Bayview? The government put money in Bayview. We're not aware of that. Yeah, they did. So Bayview is owned by the same person. But it's
You see?
Barbados today as CGI. CGI gets a lot of government insurance business now. It is all tied up in one. You know. So I keep telling you, if Barbadians do not become vigilant and to see what's happening around them, they will always be suffering. They will always be complaining. They will always be quarreling. And I said the prime minister's talking about fixing prices and all kind of stuff. She had the power in her hands to fix the prices, and she didn't use that power because that was only for campaign purposes. Right? During COVID, the prime minister took it to herself, or the cabinet gave her a whole set of powers, which included the power to control prices. She had power to shut down this, do all kind of stuff in Barbados that you would have had to go to Parliament to do. And she used all those powers, man. But she did not use one of those powers, and that power was to control prices.
Yes.
Now, all you have to do is to determine if you don't want control by price and say, well, something can't be sold for more than $5 or $5.10. You can say your markup cannot be more than 20%, 25%, whatever else. That used to work before. Because I worked at price control. That's what I told you about the time when they carry the boss bribes and give them away. I was working at price control then. And price control stoves, fridges, TVs, they had a markup, 25% I think it was. Cars, they had a markup on them. You could not, the garages could not charge more. What they used to do, they would send their invoices and customs documents to us. and with their price calculated, and many times we send back and say, too high, and tell them you got to change our price downwards. So it can be done, and it was done. The people who used to do it still they're not still they're working and got nothing to do in that regard. The staff still there, they say anybody.
Mm.
So all you need to do is to put measures in place. If the people don't do it voluntarily, you you force them to do it. Barrow did it, and he became unpopular because the Democratic Barbados Labour Party ousted the Dems again because they get the merchants to side with them. This is back in 1976. Because Branford Tate, who was the Minister of Trade, he got the worst of it because he was the fellow signing the orders to control the prices. And what happened? The the government fell because the Barbados Labour Party campaigned against them hard for the merchants in Barbados. It is, and they did it again in 2018. You see, whenever the Dems collapsed, the look the white shadows that Don Black was talking about were always behind there pulling the strings. And so the people who fund you, you
Yeah.
are not going to control prices for them because they want back the money they put in your campaigns.
Yeah.
But I
And then,
see
yeah.
the Honorable Coretta Malan is
Yes,
there, so
she's
I
here.
want to hear her.
Yes, and then Kimar, we are gonna go to Kimar, but we always have that camaraderie, something with Honorable Coretta. She's one of us, and we are always happy to have her join us. And I know Kimar prepared something for us, so we're gonna get to that a little later. Honorable Coretta McDonald, welcome. You are here, and we're in a firestorm. We are basically living out what you are experiencing in Guyana with this new law that is the aim is to silence people, to silence any kind of dissent. Good evening, ma'am. Give us an update on what's happening in Guyana.
Well, good evening to you and everybody else there, my brothers and my sisters. Good evening to Barbados. Good evening to our Guyanese folks who are living in Barbados. Happy New Year to you. And you know what? I'm so excited every time I have to be on this forum. But let me tell you what, just the same way they're trying to silence you there in Barbados, our second vice president here came out with a big ranting. Every Thursday he has a press conference. And rather than updating the nation on the progress of his government, he cusses out. He cusses everybody out. He went as far as calling one of my colleague MP a lowlife. That's the level that they've gone to. But he is now out for the social media influencers, quote unquote, as he calls them. So it's the Rickford Burke, it's the Melly Mel, it's the Mark Benskop, everybody who they feel is working against them, they are out for you and they're going to bring you to face charges in Guyana. So that's what we're here now facing. And so every Thursday we have a cuss out, and the vice president would cuss out there, Rickford Burke, Melly Mel. Even our reporters now, they are coming in for some good cussing out and so on, our local reporters. So the guy is, in my mind, he is mad. And like we said sometime before, there's a pill that is being shared between the PPP's government and Mia Mortley's government, where they're doing almost the same thing, but at different timings. But you know what? Our people are resolute, and we will stand resilient against this kind of bullyism. Slavery has been abolished a long time ago, and we're not going to allow them to enslave us. Last Friday, we celebrated 1 year of the destruction that the PPP government did to 35 families, where they bulldozed their homes. Many children, school-age children, were left without a home. Their beds were broken. Their television sets were destroyed. Everything in most of those houses were mashed up. And so just Friday last was 1 year for that kind of destruction. But you know what? Those people are stronger than ever. And I'm talking about here Mucka, Caneview in Mocha. It's a village on the east bank of the Demerara. And the PPP, they had no justification for doing what they did there, but it's their way of signaling to predominantly Afro-Guyanese that we are in charge. Outside of that, we have the continued rising of poverty in this country, the continued oppressing of public servants in this country. But we're seeing day by day, we're building, we now have a plan, a blueprint there where we're going to have a 12-storied police station. That police station, mind you, it was alleged that a prisoner lit fire to that police station. But by the next day, the government had bulldozers and so on. They cleared everything. Now, if you had this fire, then you would want to find out what was the, what caused the fire and so on. They didn't want to find out that. They just threw that at the prisoner, and they said the prisoner lit the fire. Now they're building a 12-story building there to house that police station that was there. But that's their way of ciphering off the monies from the coffers, when they build tall buildings and they do all these road projects and so on. That's the way they help themselves and their families. So that's what we have in Guyana. But I noticed, I think you're going to jump into that, but let me say it, I'm excited. I noticed we're going to have a ferry. I want to know, was the document, I want to see all the fine prints for this ferry. Where it's going to be lodged.
Let's give our audience a background of this scenario with this ferry. I don't know if I have it up. We can put it up, but give us set it up for us. Explain to us about this ferry.
Well,
is it Caswell gonna have the ferry, and Kimar, who gonna have this ferry?
Well, it's the same question I'm asking. Who really own this ferry? Is it the 3 states? Is it one? Who really own this ferry? And how the proceeds from this ferry would be distributed? How would it be distributed? Are we going to have a monthly something for our country? Is it going to be quarterly? I don't know. They need to tell us all of these things. You see, we fight with aircraft, and maybe we can get through fully with the aircraft business, so we're fighting up with a ferry now. Is this ferry that is being introduced now, is this ferry going to be used to ferry some folks into Guyana to boost up the numbers for elections? Because we're happy for development because we have lots of issues when we have to travel by aircrafts and so on, hold back, delayed flights and so on. But then when these things pop up just like that, with the PPP and with your government, things don't just happen like that. There's always something behind it before it pop up. Because we weren't hearing about this thing all the time, any thought about it. But let's wait and see what's going to happen with this ferry business that we're going to be having. Is this ferry going to be 2-storied, 3-storied? You must show us some things. Let's see what the ferry going to look like. If when we get into that ferry, if it's going to be comfortable for persons to sleep, how long this ferry will take to ferry us from one state to the next. We must hear these kinds of things. How safe is it going to be and so on? Whether we're going to have to use passports or if it's an ID card we'll have to use. We must hear about these things. The sailors on the ferries, what we're going to have from the 3 states. You need to tell us more about this. Don't just drop this thing on us and then,
Most definitely, because I saw it, and I don't know if Kimar wants to jump in on that with this ferry that is supposed to be between the 3 prime ministers, Guyana, Trinidad, and Barbados, to form this ferry company. And this is, I guess it is to help us with, or transportation, regional transportation. Kimar or Caswell, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I hope they don't it don't go the way Liat, because when they didn't get the way they collapsed Liat, Liat going to the business on the 24th permanently. Or the Liat that we know. I don't know if Antigua will be able to resurrect, or like the Phoenix, bring another Liat or something similar out of the ashes. But Liat was a deliberate kill, and I don't know if
Yeah.
because you don't plant a ferry overnight,
Mm-hmm.
because you got to source the craft, you got to do everything. So
Yep.
does this have anything to do with collapsing Liat? So people will go and catch the ferry because right now, um you go to St. Lucia, you pay $1,000 from Barbados, $900, $1,000. And the thing is, I could go to Miami. I can go to Miami cheaper. So this again, I gotta watch them.
You know,
Mind you, I for years they were talking about the ferry, but now all of a sudden on the announcement of Liat's demise, ferry.
mhm.
I know it's too coincidental. I don't
You know,
believe in these kind of coincidences.
and you know, one of the things that struck me is how is it that we didn't pull Antigua to be part of this too? Why only these three states? You know?
Antigua ain't getting nothing with me, Motley.
Let
Trust
me
me.
hear Kimar. Kimar, let me hear Kimar. Kimar, what are your thoughts on this? I know you're a big researcher on Liat. So let me hear you.
Well, according to Avinash Prasad, this ferry is supposed to cost US $100 million. Right? I have some, I always have my facts. So I gonna put some things up on the screen so that you could see, because it was Avinash Prasad, it was David Commission, and they planned this whole ferry thing through CARICOM,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm not saying that I oppose the ferry. I think we need a system through the Caribbean, right?
Of course, we do.
Mhm,
Yes.
But
mhm.
right, but my problem here is no, right? You bring or you establish this so-called ferry system that is supposed to come between what's the strategic points? Barbados first, Trinidad, and then Guyana, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're saying at the surface level. However, they forgot to tell you that this ferry will also be going to Suriname and also be going to Venezuela, right? They didn't say
Uh,
that part. They didn't say that part,
Oh, wow.
right?
Say that again. Repeat what you
Right?
just said.
They conveniently
uh-huh.
left out that part.
Mm-hmm.
You have the three strategic points of the ferry. And if you look at the map of the Caribbean, if you know the map of the Caribbean off your head, Barbados, the most eastern country, right? You leave Barbados, the first place you get going that direction is Trinidad,
Yes.
right? And then when you get Trinidad, then you get to Guyana, right? But what they left out here is that the ferry will also be stopping in Suriname and also be stopping in Venezuela. And if you
In
don't me
Venezuela.
ask David Commission about it, right? I,
Well, if it goes to Guyana, at least we will get some blackberry mutton because we bring back some for us.
Well, you know,
Wow.
because this
if
ferry,
it's stuck in Venezuela, then you're getting some fuel, boy.
I have here, but that's what I'm saying. This ferry system is a test run. So when the Caribbean ships, these ships that go into Venezuela to get all to the Petro Caribbean deal, that you already have a rope system, right? You already have a rope system. So the ship will come Barbados, Trinidad, Guyana, Venezuela. So this is all setting up a commercial route for oil, right? Because don't think that these ferries can only be moving people. Right? They're moving goods. It's there to facilitate trade, and
Mm-hmm.
people are going to be like exciting. I have a video here from March 2022, right?
They're
Where
asking Kimar, if you could turn up your volume, is there are you speaking a little?
No, it
Yes.
Well,
gotta be yours. It gotta be yours, Marcy, because I just about to turn him down.
Oh, okay. All right. No problem. No problem. Keep going, Kimar.
yes. I have a video here from March 2022, right? Which David Commission was saying that it was saying. But I want to put up something here for you from the Nation News, which say that Barbados not included in the ferry proposal. If you, are you gonna put it up right here for you
Yeah,
to see?
Mark Levan
What,
Bay.
what do you mean?
Cause
I'm
I
showing you
remember
it.
that. I remember
I'm
that.
showing you it. I'm showing you it. I'm gonna show you it. Close that, right? Look. You see this title here? You can clearly
Yep.
see what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Barbados not in ferry proposal,
Mm-hmm.
When was this
and that was
though? When was this article?
December the 26th, 2022.
Okay.
Mm.
But all
Nation
of a
News.
sudden now, Barbados in it.
It
Yeah, we
says
could
here.
get some more IMF money.
It says here a proposal to establish a ferry service for the Eastern Caribbean does not include Barbados in any of the four possible routes. The document, the proposal for the implementation of a ferry service through public-private partnerships, was prepared by a Diego Ayeta, an associate economic affairs officer at the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean. The service the service proposes to link nations across from Guyana and Suriname in the south to the ABC Islands in the southwest, as well as Puerto Rico, Antigua, and Barbuda to the north. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Route one, and it gives you only route one. Route one encompasses, it gives you all four routes. Right? Route one encompasses Colombia, Aruba,
The drugstores.
Bonaire, Curacao, Trinidad. Route two, Trinidad, Guyana, Suriname. You see what I'm saying? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Route three, Puerto Rico, Antigua, Guadeloupe, St. Lucia. Route four, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenada, and Tobago. So you see what I was saying about this thing, right? That they really intend for this ferry to be coming from Venezuela, right? And it's about all. It isn't really about it's about moving people really.
Wow. So that's the change
Yep.
that they have made. They've made that change.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you see so you see these people are never up to any good,
No
right?
good whatsoever. Nothing.
They never give you the full facts and information, right? And I'm gonna give you. I want to show you Avinash Prasad in living color, right? In living color, speaking about this very service because Barbadians need to understand the amount of deals and leftward things that were done in their name at the level of CARICOM, because we have a lot of corrupt leadership through the region. So, so look at it. Avinash Prasad here. This is April 2021, and he said
Mm-hmm.
it says here one prominent economist is proposing that Barbados and other Caribbean community states put a tax on processed foods and subsidize fresh produce to help increase the production of more nutritious food. In addition, Avinash Prasad, chairman of CARICOM, has put the issue of a regional ferry system back on the table, saying that this was one way of ensuring that people and goods, you hear the words people and goods, were
And goods.
moved between some countries at a more affordable cost. He was discussing recommendations contained in the latest CARICOM Commission report on the economy. And during a recent online session, Prasad explained that the first year of the COVID pandemic, there was no major disruption the supply chains as initially anticipated, and that there was proof that Barbados and other islands were not short on food supplies. Right? He said that the government of Barbados was quite prepared to take extreme measures to bring in supplies of food or anything that was in short supply. But within a couple of weeks, it became clear that it wasn't a supply disruption after all. Um, he's more speaking about food, more food, more food. I want to get to the part where he's speaking about the ferry. Hmm. Um, right. He said here, in relation to a proposed regional ferry system, the CARICOM Commission report noted that there have been many feasibility studies on the viability of a regional ferry system. Commissioners have consulted with the investors and boat builders.
Mm.
There are investors prepared to invest US $50 million to purchase an ideal vessel for intra-regional routes, and one is available. There is no longer a much talked about pipe dream, but it will not happen if we do not change the travel and trade regulation within the region. So that gives some meat to what Kazo was saying, that Liat's destruction was purposeful, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Pointing to the logistical issues as one of the reasons for the current high cost of travel within the Caribbean. Passad said a fast ferry system could be a solution. He said it would require investment of some US $75 million, adding that part of the problem is that the private sector is unable to invest that huge amount of money in a world of great uncertainty about marine diesel oil. Right? The
Mm-hmm.
reason that if
Mm-hmm.
governments were to find a way of reducing the uncertainty, then we may have to be able to get the private sector to put up that money. It is one of our leading recommendations that we need the support of the development of a fast ferry network. It probably means buying one or two ferries. It means that the state will need to come in and provide some sort of guarantee. We have a lot of strong interest in some places supporting, and so I hope we will move forward. To get the fast ferry to work, you need countries to agree to fast movement. There's no point in having a fast ferry to go through 3 or 4 countries in one day if it takes several hours to deal with immigrations and customs. In addition to immigration matters, the report also called for individuals to be able to travel with their vehicles on the ferry and for measures to be put in place for their insurance coverage to be able to do so. Uh, and he said that it also called for a dispute resolution mechanism for when goods were not allowed to flow freely through the region or contentious levels of duties were or charges were applied. And that is Avinash Prasad for
Wow.
us.
Very interesting. I would love to hear, thanks, Kimar. I would love to hear Honorable Coretta McDonald. What I see you shaking your head and you are, what are you, your Guyanese, you're listening to all of this and what's going through your head, Miss McDonald?
Well, you know what's happening here. Like I said earlier, this is a forum for this. This project is a project that is set out to make the rich continue to be rich and to get richer, and to allow the poor to continue to be poor. How many persons are going to be able, the ordinary man, how many of them are going to be able to afford this? Outside of that, what exactly are we going to be moving between all of these countries? Is it that we are going to allow for, is it going to boost our tourist industry? What are we really establishing? Why do we want to have this ferry? Mind you, this establishment is good, but it's the fine prints behind all of this that we're not sure about. Because the fact that we have some of these key players who are going to be part and parcel of it, it leads one to start thinking, some cunning passing here, some sort of skullduggery passing here, something ain't gonna be right here. What exactly do we expect to achieve coming out of all of this? And the fact that they can start lying to us about the route and where this ferry will go is enough reasons for us to be suspicious about this ferry. you know and so Guyanese people, let me say this again, Guyanese don't, anything that they hear PM Mortley name being mentioned in, it starts sending their thinking spaces wild.
So let's be
Anywhere.
clear. So you're saying that anytime they hear PM Motley, if a Guyanese hears PM Motley's name
Mhm.
involved with anything with Guyana, they're suspicious. Well, trust me, we are
But
we are
I'm not a
suspicious.
Guyanese. I'm not a Guyanese, and I have the same thing. you know, so I gotta get a Guyanese passport then.
You know, like I keep saying, um, just let me backpedal a little. We had the president of this country, Guyana, Irfan Ali. He left this country to head to St. Vincent.
Mhm.
And he addressed this nation and he said, I will not be getting involved in any discussion with regards to the border, the territorial controversy. But
Yes,
yet
I
the man
remember.
went there and the man signed a plea deal, a peace deal. Sorry, the man went and signed a peace deal. And he said that he was not going to talk anything about that issue because it's in the ICJ. But yet, when he
He
met with
never
his
said.
sister and he met his big brother and whoever else he met there, the man went and sign off. You
Well,
know,
he
so
said he ain't gonna talk. He saying,
the man saying he ain't talking, but but yet, but you had to talk before you sign. You
well,
have
does
to
he think
have
no,
some talking before you sign. But the
they
man
talk
signed
before they
away
get there. They
the
talk before they
whole of
get
Guyana.
there.
Huh? And while
They,
we were pressing to ask, what is the agenda of this meeting? What is the agenda of this meeting? Because we heard Maduro saying he is going there to represent his people. He going to talk about this piece of land that belonged to them. And our president here, the president of Guyana, was saying, oh, this. No, he's not talking about that. But yet he had no agenda for the meeting. Lo and behold, the man went there and the man signed off. So you can't trust these people because when they come on a national forum and lie to the entire nation, you can't trust anything else they're saying. And it's not the first time they're doing it.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
guess,
yeah,
we
yeah.
might be
Listen.
having some more black belly sheep coming into Guyana, some more black belly sheep we might have coming in. And I think we might have some more I don't know if it's lava curry or what kind of curry, fish curry, catfish curry, and sorghum might be going out there too. So fair exchange for them, and they get rich
I
and
understand.
we remain poor.
So
Hmm?
so tell us now what there is this issue with the is this the Saudi president? It's a Saudi. Why am I saying Saudi? I can't remember the name of the
The
country, but it's
prince,
an Arab. It's an Arab president
hmm, the
that.
prince.
So can you talk to us about that in terms of the oil? There is now this agreement that is signed. Is it signed or they're planning to sign it?
Well, they're going to be signing that, and he's coming here to address the oil and gas conference that they are going to be having. And when these things happen, the masses of the people are left in the dark. We don't know what is happening. You see little snippets here, there, and everywhere, but you're not included in all of this. And the resource that they're coming to sign off on and to make all kinds of deals on, it is our resources, but we don't benefit the way we ought to benefit from all of these resources. We look just today is the third day for the reopening of schools here in Guyana.
Yes.
Yesterday, we had one school closed yesterday because of sewage issues. Today, we had teachers on go slow at another school because a teacher fell down yesterday. She broke both hands. Both hands are in cast. You know, we had another school where the president of the Parent Teachers Association, he said no teacher nor parent is coming into this school because it's not ready for the reopening. And we had many more issues with other schools. So you wonder, where are these monies going? And you know how much
Right. I mean, you guys have oil. You guys, I don't understand. Where is the money going?
millions of US dollars we keep withdrawing from the Natural Resources Fund. And you don't know where these monies are going because the public servants are not benefiting. The year before we got 8% increase. Last year we got 6.5. And Guyana is now the 10th richest country in the world. and people still
Wow.
living in poverty. People still living in poverty, but
And
yet
your
the
schools are
president
like
of
that. You can't even open schools. Right now, sewage problems, all
Mhm.
kinds of issues at the schools that you
All
can't
kinds of
open the schools, and you are the 10th richest. Do we all see? I mean,
yes.
this is ridiculous.
Mhm. You having issues with water, toilets can't be flushed, and you're now embarking on building a 12-storied police station. So the people will eat the police station, But I'm hoping that with this 12-story police station, that we'll be able to solve crime faster and at a faster rate. But the thing is, the wealth of the country is never trickling down to the small man. People are still suffering. We've got hundreds of qualified young people in this country who graduated from the University of Guyana, who graduated from technical schools, and they can't find jobs. You know what we're doing? We are bringing the Venezuelans in. We are bringing those from India. We bring in from all
China.
over, and we're offering
Wow.
them jobs at a lesser rate of salary, and so Guyanese are out of jobs. Yep.
Wow. And when they do that, then those people will always vote for them. If they bring them in from Venezuela and they bring them in from India, then
Well,
they will always, my gosh,
Pakistan, and so you get all these people coming, and they
from
can barely
Pakistan.
speak. You can barely speak the language, but all these folks coming here, and they live in free and big as if they're bona fide citizens of Guyana, while the bona fide citizens of Guyana can't live comfortable. Mhm.
Oh
Oh, by the
my
way, that
goodness.
12-story police station is not the thing. That's to lock you all up. That's to lock you up. You, you got room now.
It's crazy. It's crazy, And every time you have to call these people out, you are being deemed you don't want to see progress.
Hmm.
Social media influencers, low lives, hungry belly, and Marcy, I'm sure you're getting some of those from some of
Yes,
the
yes.
comment.
I have to tell you that I had put up a video of your vice president where Vice is this is a media company. They went
Hmm.
to Guyana and
Yes.
the media company caught him. Because this is from the US, and they're very, very serious in what they're very stealth. And they were able to have him a little stumped and kind of connected him with some allegedly
Hmm.
with some kind of corruption in Guyana.
Hmm.
And this was being played all over the US, and it's all on the internet. And so someone sent a little clip and I put it on my page. Let me tell you, these Indian people, they started on me and they started to call me pigmented this and the thing is this is it's so interesting that they said, oh, we are taking the side of the black people in Guyana. But when you call me a monkey and you start to come to describe me based on the color of my skin, what am I? I'm definitely going to believe what the people are going through in Guyana, because
and
I never even said a word to you. All I did was put up a video,
and
and you start to
that's
attack me.
And that's exactly the kind of attack that is being meted out to quite a lot of us. As a matter of fact, let me say to you, we had this minister by the name of Nigel Dharamlal, and I'm sure you saw those videos where
Yes,
a young lady made
Yes.
some damning allegations against him. Dharamlal, while he served as a minister, he stood up in the National Assembly to defend his budget because he was a local government minister. And when one of my colleagues made a comment, he said to her while standing at the podium, "You need a dildo." Uh-huh. In the National Assembly, he said that. And so these people have no qualms about what they say to anybody who's opposing their views. As long as you're not with them, then they find all sorts of names to give you. So they call black people hungry belly. They went
yes.
so far to
They call
say
me Hungry Belly too. They call me Hungry Belly.
they went so far to say that they're gonna poison the vegetables that they're selling to you black man. We can poison the vegetables that we selling to you. And that's how radical these people are. As we speak, there are some buses, some school buses that came on board as a result of a gift of gifts that were given to the former president, David Granger. Because he said, look, for my birthday, I don't want personal gifts. I want gifts that will enhance the lives of school-age children. So he said, I wanted boats that can move those who are living in the hinterland. They can get to school on time. Bicycles, books, backpacks, buses. So we had these buses, and the school children were picked up and dropped off to their schools free of cost in the morning and in the afternoons. That alone took a whole lot off of the parents in terms of finances that they had to find to get their children to school. You know, the PPP, they have at least 5 of those buses just parked and are rotting in the weather, day, sun, rain at night, rain during the day, dew during the night. That's what they have those buses parked up there. What they did not do damages to the engines. They broke this part, broke that part, and those buses are there parked. The boats, they've converted many of the boats to their own uses, so the school children can't benefit anymore. And that's how these people operate. We just had last evening, there's a video that is going around with Darren Lal. He's no longer minister, and he is threatening one of the so-called social media influencer and others. And he said clearly, anybody who let me get his words. Anybody who is who's attacking the PPP, to that effect, he will go after them, regardless of who you are. Anybody messing with the PPP, he will go after them, regardless of who you are. And so this is the kind of lawlessness we have in this country. But I'm hoping that the police force, that they're going to pull him in for questioning, because he was on social media and he was saying this straight. I hope they're going to pull him in for questioning, just the same way they have pulled others in, you know? And I'm saying these kinds of things, you don't hear the Ethnic Relations Commission coming out when they call Black people hungry belly and low life and all kinds of names, hooligans and so on, and criminals. You don't hear anybody coming out from there calling them there. But if you have a Black person saying that, man, they paint you all over. But this is what we have to live in. And it's sad that we have the headquarters of CARICOM right here in Georgetown, Guyana, but you don't hear anything coming out of them. So they're not CARICOM, they're CARIGON.
CARIGON. Mr. Franklin, you know, listening to her, Mr. Franklin, I said to myself, if we are not careful, that is where they want to put us, not race, but between colors and between parties. They'd start to pit us against each other, and we'd start to have that kind of,
Tribalism.
And so on. Yes, go ahead. You're
You know,
saying?
but you know, I'm saying that it seemed as though it is the plan. These fellas like to sit down with Mayor Motley and they'll come up with the same the same blueprint for their nastiness. Because if you hear the Honorable Coretta McDonald speaking and you don't know that she was Guyanese, you think she's talking about Barbados, you know. I am very serious.
Yes.
So they use the same playbook.
They're just nasty. They are just nasty. And you know, the thing is, we have a few Afro-Guyanese who are part of the cabinet, but they're dumb and docile, and they're probably deaf and blind. So all they do, they go out there and they read from a script that is given to them to ostracize Black people. And they don't see the kind of injustices that is being meted out against Black people. But I want to say on this program that we're going to be having a march on the 20th of January. We're going
Oh
to be
wow!
having
Because somebody was just
a
asking
march,
you if you have a march.
a march against high cost of living. I am
Mm.
waiting to see whether the police will give us permission or they will not give us permission, because the same things that are happening at your end is the same things they try this side. But even if they don't give us permission, we will have that march. So we're going to march against corruption, and we're going to be having speakers there, including the leader of the opposition, who will educate more the public on exactly what is happening. You know, we have a National Assembly that is like yours, where there's no opposition. We have a National Assembly like that, where the speaker doesn't give any leeway to the opposition. Everything for the government, he's there because he's their boy. You know, he was bought, parceled, presented, everything. He is government. And so regardless of what we say in Parliament, it doesn't make any kind of impact, except for the persons who are listening to the debates when we have the debates. And let me tell you, we're having budget is going to be read next Monday. And I know that's probably the whole ferry that they're talking about there. That's probably Liat that they were able to do away with, is probably Caribbean Air. All of them put together is what we're going to have as our budget come next Monday. But you know what?
Wow.
The small man will not benefit from anything that is in that budget.
Yeah. You know, I'm so happy that we are meeting this kind of way, and we're coming together, Kimar, because they're meeting, and it seemed to me they're meeting against the people. And it's so interesting. It's always a breath of fresh air, and it's also always encouraging, Honorable McDonald, to have this discussion with you, because it's, as someone is saying here, similar conditions and situations in both countries, and we could tell these two leaders are very, very tight. And you started off saying that you noticed that
LGBT.
it's either you started off saying that it's either that Barbados does something and then Guyana does it, or Guyana and then Barbados. They're so tight, because we're watching this censorship thing right now, Kima. We're watching it because it's full force in Guyana. And look at what is happening to us with our march. Listen, let me tell you, Honorable McDonald, this is such a pleasure. We have another 5 minutes. If there's anything else that you want to tell us, because we have a battle here on our hand. We have our march coming up. Yours is on January 20th, and we want to wish you all the best
Thank you.
with your march. And you can come back on next week and talk about the march again. Let us know how plans are going, because we are part of it. We're part of
Yes.
it.
Uh-huh.
Is
You
there
know, I want to
anything
say
that you want to
to
tell
I
us?
want to say to you that in your country, you usually have, I think, your prime minister doing press conferences and updating the nation. But here we don't have our president doing the president here doing press conferences. What we have here is the vice president every Thursday, and maybe you should check the link out. Every Thursday, he has a conference, a COSOUT conference every Thursday, where he would buse everybody out. You know, he would buse everybody out. Everybody he abusing. But I want to say to us that we are a people with a rich history, and we're not going to allow any likes of Jagio or Irfan Ali or Mia Mortley or anybody to make us feel any less of who we are. We have a history, and we will continue to maintain that. The ones who can speak for those who can't speak for themselves, we will continue to call these people out when they do foolishness. If you are there to govern, then you must govern with free, people must be free to talk, because you talk about democracy all the time, but democracy is convenient for only you, your cronies, and your families. We also have in Guyana, where the PPP, they have sought this out, and they're doing it here. They are now building an empire of a few, and the masses are only equal to receiving crumbs. So they have this empire that they have built. And if you check the contracts that are being issued, one set of people, family, friends, favorites. If you check in the ministries that we have, if I tell you about education in the education ministry, you go there, you see the majority of one set of people in those ministries. You check the top brass of the ministry, what Ministry of Education, one set of people, and then they come under this guise to tell you about one Guyana. And of course, we know it's not one Guyana. And that was an attempt to change the motto of Guyana, which says one people, one nation, one destiny. In addition to that, every kind of investment, everything that was put out there by the late Forbes Burnham or by the PNC party, the PPP have sought to destroy it. Everything that has been laid out there. Well, of course, they couldn't mash the Demerara Harbor Bridge. Burnham instituted free education. They came on board and started, and they made us have to pay for education. When the constitution of this country says free education from nursery to university, they have caused us to be paying for education. When the coalition came into office, the PPP then had they had abandoned the law school. When the coalition came into office, the coalition resuscitated that, and we had our students, our Guyanese students here doing their law program. You know what they have done when they returned to office after 2020? They squashed that. So our students, after they finish at the University of Guyana, they still have to go off to Trinidad and UE and wherever else to complete their law degree. And these things are being done so that poor people's children can't have the kind of education that they would really want their children to have. And that's their way of suppressing the people in this country. And they've done this to their own supporters because they want to keep their supporters at a certain level so that they can throw anything at them and have them believe what they're saying because they don't want them educated. But we're seeing quite a lot of the younger folks are moving away from that kind of thing. And so when quite a lot of our East Indian boys and girls, they branch off, they're bold, they're going off because this is it's a different era we're living in. And so the young people are going out there, and when they mix with other Guyanese students from different cultures, then they understand, hey, what my parents been teaching me at home, that's not it. This is a different way of life. These people are not what they tell us that the black people are not what they tell us black people are, And so I let me give you a vivid one. There was a young man who said when he was growing up, his parents used to tell him, you see the black man there? The black man, I'm going to bring the black man for frighten you. I'm going to bring the black man for frighten you. So they paint this picture that black people are devious and black people are always up to something evil. But he said as he grew older, he recognized that it's not true. Black people are not destructive people. Black people are very nice people, hospitable, kind, forgiving people. But that's the picture that the PPP paint all the time. They are just there to continue to create that wedge between our people and to divide our people for their own political gain. But Guyanese people are understanding now that as a people, we cannot allow politicians to divide us. And when politicians do wrong things, we will speak out against it. When the coalition was in office, every one of them from the PPP, every day, they're on Facebook and they're condemning everything that the coalition would have done. And now when they're in office and you talk about the crazy things that they're doing and you talk about the corruption and you talk about them not being accountable for the government, for the people's money, they have an issue with it. And so they call you hungry bellies and low life. But we will stand against those. We will push back. And with that march on January 20th, that will be one of the starting points for the pushing back against this corrupt, racist, vindictive, and evil government that we have here in Guyana.
Yes, wow. We want to wish you all the best. Our march is on, so your march is next week,
Next week.
Saturday, and our march is this week Saturday. And it seems to me the 1930s are coming back into play here,
Right
and
here.
we're deciding we're not going to sit down and take this, and that's why our march. So we would love to talk to you longer because it's always so interesting. You are such a great speaker and always so interesting to listen to. But we have a situation here. We can't even advertise our march. So Winston is here with us, and he jumped on because I know he saw what's going on, and we're going to discuss that. But thank you so much, Honorable McDonald,
Let me
for
say,
coming
let me
on.
say to you before I go, our march will not be advertised on any of the national radio station or television station. Our march has to be advertised on forums like these, our social media platforms, and whatever other programs we have. And in two of the newspapers who have been a little kind to us, that's where our marches are going to be advertised. It will not be advertised in the national newspapers, period. So, we have to push back like you. But like I said, we are a resilient people and we will go forth with what we have to do, because the Guyanese people must understand that the PPP are no good for Guyana. And we have a little slogan that we share all the time. If Guyana is to grow, the PPP must go.
I love the slogan. We need to get a slogan too. Well, thank you so much, Honorable McDonald. It is a pleasure. A pleasure. It was a pleasure having you. And we look forward to hearing about the march. And I will talk to you about us getting a feed or getting some kind of, we want to see. And we will send some of ours to you as well. Okay? We'll
Thank you
send
so much.
that. Thank you,
Do have
ma'am.
a
God bless.
wonderful night, and it's always a blessing to be here.
Thank
Peace.
you so much. God bless. God bless. Thank you. Wow. Wasn't that awesome? Wasn't that awesome just to hear and to see the synergy and what is happening? And Kimar was able to give, as usual, giving her some information there, of things that she wasn't even aware of. And that is the level of research. And I want to use this. This is not a moment. Kimar doesn't pay me. There's a police.
I hear.
I'm wondering, Kimar, if the police coming for me. I hear the police siren passing the house. I don't really normally hear that in my area,
You
but
sure it's the police or the fire tender?
it's ambulance. Okay, it's the ambulance. Oh wow, Father bless that person. But I forgot. Well, what I was saying, is that we want to thank God for Timar, that he would be able to do that kind of research. And this is what I'm saying of people who are seeking office. Do some work, present something, help the people. And this is not like he's going away shelling out money in the community. The man goes and research and come back and educate the people of this country. And that is the kind of stewardship that we are looking for, because we're not going to honor anything except something of this nature. But Mr. Let's welcome Winston. Winston, welcome. Good to see you.
Hello, good night. Hi, good night. Are you hearing me well? 'Cause I'm hearing some background noise. Are you
Yes,
hearing me
I'm
well?
gonna turn off the others and see if that would
Hello?
help. Yes, I'm hearing you now. This is better.
Are you hearing? Are you hearing me now? Okay,
Yes, we
great, great,
are.
great, great. Hi. Um. Okay, good. Hi. Good night, everyone. Good night, Marcia. You are you're making waves. Good night, Caswell. Good night, Kimar. Good night to the opposition of Barbados. You guys have made this possible. You guys are making this happen. And I feel so proud of you to be in this company, to hear you speak your comments and everything that's happening it's really inspiring and motivating. All right. I just want to remind everyone it's a Saturday, the 13th, the sorry, the 13th of January 2024. Um, opposite Kensington Oval, Marcy Car Park. We start from 10 o'clock. I would love everyone to tell everybody they know, even if you put up something on your platform, and tell everybody that you know on who sees your pages on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, on Telegram, on TikTok. Put it out, everyone, please. All right, because the numbers count. All right, I know this from previous experience. The numbers count. All right, and to be quite truthful with you, I'm hearing something on the radio today. They're speaking about people running to get IDs. I know the psychology of these people. I knew
Correct.
that they've tried this ploy on more than one occasion, and they kept trying and they were not making it. And they said, you know what? Let me try this last ditch move, this last ditch initiative, and try to rush people for this year and put it out and make people feel guilty as if they're going to be left out. They cannot uncitizen you. You understand? They can't stop you from being a Barbadian. All right. And to do certain things would be not only unconstitutional but unjust. And there is a means to address anything they do. You understand? To deny you your rights if you don't have this piece of card. It's not even a Barbadian identification card. It's a Trident ID. I don't know if we belong to Neptune or Poseidon or something, but whatever it is, and they want to invade your privacy. You know, they want to make sure that they have access to everything you do, you're buying, you're spending, your bank accounts. You know, we already know all of this, right? And we want to make sure that we have a choice. Freedom of choice is one of our fundamental rights, all right? And I'm begging everyone, please come out. Please come out, all right? I am going to try my best to be there. I'm going to try my best. Marcy would no way say that, all right? But obviously, I will be there as long as God spares my life, all right? Or I'm allowed to. But I want to make sure that every single person. I spoke about the video influencers. You would have seen Hassan, Mohammed. You would have seen Matthew. You have seen Dunksman and a couple others putting out their videos because these people have their following. And if we can continue to do that, and you people too have your friends and family and acquaintances, please do that. I want to see down there packed. I want to see down there packed. All right. So that we can not only concentrate only on the digital ID, but all the other things so that when you guys are on the truck, the Kimar and Caldwell, every one of us is we go on the truck and we start to speak, that we can address issues and not only address issues, but show solutions which can solve what is happening here. I'm seeing you putting up check gate there, Marcia. And oh boy, there's so much that needs to be done as far as this administration is concerned because there's no transparency, there's no accountability, there's nothing. It's as if we don't exist. And we have to be straightforward. Our Prime Minister cares not what we say. She don't care what we do. You understand? So we have to show them with the multitudes that we can turn around when she has to care what we do. All right. Um, there's not much more I have to say. Just want to bring people out. All right. If
Yes.
there are questions, I can
Yeah. Well, you know, there are right now we have over 600 persons watching, and I know that some of these persons are from the diaspora. Those but most of the people are watching are in Barbados, and I'm saying, Winston, that if we've heard that Barbados today doesn't want us to advertise, all right, doesn't want to
okay.
advertise for us. If it was me, if I was saying I wasn't coming out, that would be a reason for me to put on my clothes and get out there. even if I come,
Yeah.
if I join part way, even if I come and stand up
Mm.
at Cave Shepherd and I start and I join part way, because we're going to go from Massacre Park, we go up Fontebelle, right? And
That's
pass
right.
the market right there.
Cheapside, cheapside, right?
Cheapside, Cheapside
Cheapside, right?
Market. Yes,
Yeah.
and then we
Yeah.
go up Broad Street. Yes.
We come up.
And
Yeah, we come up in front of St. Mary's. It's in front of St. Mary's Church. We pass Jubilee Gardens. Come up Lower Broad Street. We go straight up to Upper Broad Street. I make the turn through Beige Road. I walk around through you understand? Probury Street. I come around back to Bay Street and Independence Square. That's usually
mhm,
the route we take. All right.
yeah,
So people, if you're unable, whether it's because of heat, because of infirmity, because of whatever, you can wait halfway and join. Or you can just make a 3/4 of the way and join. But as long as you come and just show your face, come and say, I'm here. I'm here, back you. I'm here. You understand? So that by the time
yeah,
we get to where we are going, they see the numbers of how many people. Because not only that, it will prove a point. It will contradict the narrative that they're putting out. It will show, you know what? Eh, these people, a lot of these people ain't pinned, a lot of these people ain't went for the elites. You understand? We want to show that. We want to show you, listen, it. Quite a few Barbadians are not in agreement with what is happening. Quite a few people are thinking for themselves. Quite a lot of these people are awakened and they're aware of what is going on. These people want to have a say in governance. That's
mhm,
what we want. You know, we want to show people and let them know, listen, it's not a yesteryear. The people are awake. The people are aware. People are cognizant and they want to have a say in how their country is run. And that's what we need. We definitely need that. You understand? Marcia, to be quite truthful with you, I believe it's time that we start picking our own representatives. Definitely, I believe it's time that we start picking our own representatives. Because to be quite truthful, you don't have to be. Okay, I just spoke about Hamilton Lashley because he came from within the community. You understand? He spoke about different politicians, right?
yeah,
You don't have to be a doctor or lawyer to be a politician. You understand? The prime minister herself here, she doesn't know everything. She uses advisors and consultants when it comes to things she does not know about or she's not cognizant about. You have Kimar here, who is a very good researcher. You understand? You have people, there are people who are from down, who are from basic needs of life, who, you know what I mean, who are not low, who are lower socioeconomic, who have sincerity, who have empathy, who can relate to what we are speaking of, and who will listen to people, and who have leadership qualities, who can actually come out and lead a country. It's like a host, it's just on a bigger scale. All right, you a person
yeah,
cooks for a household, and then they can go and cook for a meeting, an event. It's the same thing. You just need to know how to manage, all right, and how to properly lead. You don't bully. A leader is not a bully. You understand? It's something natural within them. All right, and that's all we need. We need people to pick people from ourselves, from among ourselves, and allow them to represent us. All right, and we want legislation that if you get into parliament and you start to go astray, we can remove you. That's what we need. We need that
correct,
kind of thing going on here. We need that, and we need to stop talking about it and do it. And there should be things in place where if we believe a government is not performing, that we the people can get together and say, listen, we have no confidence in you. You're not representing us the way we want. Move from there. Let's hold elections right now. We need that. That is what we need. And these are things that we, the people, can do. We can demand them. It is all right. We need to demand these things. Because all I
Winston,
know, came
Correct.
because huh?
Winston, I want to
Hello.
say something to you that will surprise you and the rest of the people in Barbados. You know, you were talking just now
Go ahead.
about people are coming from the communities and working, and you refer to Hamila as I spoke about earlier. You know,
Yes.
Hamila has never joined a political party.
No, I didn't even know that. And he and I were
You
close
see,
friends.
what happened? What happened? They wanted him because he was a community worker.
Mm.
And because he worked
That's
in the
good.
community and they know that the people that voted for him, both parties tried to grab along, get hold of him. I was the assistant secretary of Barbados Labour Party when he came in. I used to deal with the administration at membership. Hamid never followed Barbados Labour Party membership form. Never. And similarly with them.
Okay.
Because they wanted him so badly. So you want to get people who come out in the community and work. Hamid work. And
Yes.
because Hamid worked, the people loved him. And you don't see
Yes.
if he was a B, they voted for him. If he was a D, they voted for him. You know
They
why?
voted
Because
for him.
he
That's
was a
right.
Hamid. He was a Hamid.
That's right.
And Hamid went with the party in power to make sure his people got benefits. And that is what we need. We need people who they want. Right now we have a lot of people that Mayor Motley picked, hand picked,
Mm.
Mhm.
and put them there. We got a Malik Nero, can't read. Well, not good. But you know, he could probably read. We got Lady Bird and that kind of stuff. He can still read them. But
Mm.
he could he does she know that if he there he can be loyal, he can be obey because he needs her. So she thought. Because when she said, "Oh, we can take you down and put Cynthia forward," my man say you're moving. You see, but so even then, father cannot read, but he still had little guts, you know. But the rest of them are people who don't cannot make a decent living and outside of politics. So when she picked them with a plan. That is why excuse me, she had to have so many ministers, because look, when I was a boy, the House of Assembly had a few ministers, and the rest used to work in their professions. And I know almost everybody in the house is a minister,
But they don't have any
and
professions.
they ain't
They
got no
don't have any
profession.
professions, so to speak.
Their profession is politician. Their profession is politician, professional politician. So if they, and I tell you, if they do not win the election, they suffer till they come back in again. And that is the problem that we have. That is the problem that we have created in Barbados. That is and that feeds the tribalism, because you know, but if I can't get a job in the government, um, I can't work. If my people in power, you
Mm.
going to do everything possible, whether it is within the best interest of the workers or not, or the best interest of the country. And most of their policies are not in the best interest of anybody but themselves or the people who sponsor them. So, yes, you were right, Winston. We need people from the communities to come out and force the politicians to accept them, because they knew, both parties knew, that Hamila will win that seat whenever he ran. So they tried
Yes.
to get him on board. And that is what, and then Hamid went with him because, and they made him minister. And let me tell you something, every penny Hamid earned, and he plowed back in the community, you know.
That's
Hamid, I
correct.
know they got,
Listen, Caswell, what you are saying is true because you know what? I was Hamid's constituency assistant. I walked around with all those letters and delivered them like the post. And he would tell you that up to now. I hand delivered letters. It were all through Dash Valley, organized meetings, everything. I was his constituency assistant.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
that. I never joined the party either. But
Yeah.
because of the person,
Yeah, you were supporting him, and
who
that's really
support
what
the
it's all about.
person.
We are the
Right?
voice of the people. Someone
That's
is
right.
asking here. Someone is asking here because one of the main areas that we're going to be marching against, it's this digital ID, the mandatory aspect of it. We all know there's not necessarily anything wrong with going digital, but it's in whose hands it is in. And also the
Mm.
fact that they are saying that it's mandatory. We want to have the choice that if we want to be hooked up, we want to pin to the system, or we don't want to pin to the system, we need to have that choice, right, to be able to do that. But so someone is asking here, can someone explain how persons without the digital ID will be classified? Will they
A
be considered
person, a,
citizens? Yeah.
a person who is born in Barbados after the 30th of November 1966 is a citizen of Barbados.
That's
That's the
right.
Constitution. A person who was born before and was
Mm.
a citizen of the United Kingdom and colonies,
Mm.
he's a citizen of Barbados. If you were married, initially, if it was a man married to a woman, the woman became a citizen of Barbados on registration. They amended the Constitution now to give
Yes,
that
it's that.
similar right for women who
Mm.
marry foreign men. Because in 1966 you took the it was not racism or anything else. It was just simply that that was the system. You took your husband's name, you took your citizenship. But
Mm.
over time, people saw the error there is, and and the child was born out of that union outside of Barbados, he automatically becomes a citizen of Barbados too. All he has to do is to register to let somebody know that he was born. All right, and then the only people who are born in Barbados who are not citizens of Barbados are the children of accredited diplomats. Now, if you were the American ambassador and you get a child, well, the current one ain't gonna get none,
Mm.
and you get a child, that child will not be a
It's in the
citizen of
US.
Barbados. He
Yes,
will
of
be deemed to have been born in the United States, and that child could even
States.
then turn around and run to be president. Because in order to be president, you have to be born in the United States. Even if you acquire citizenship in the United States, you cannot become a president of the United States. You could get all the way up to Congress and Senate, but you can't make the president. In
Mm-hmm.
Barbados, we have a similar. If you are registered as a citizen, you could become governor general. Because I'll tell you something. As long as you are a citizen of Barbados, any of those methods I just tell you, registration, and you are if you are in a Commonwealth country, you register as a citizen of Barbados. If you are an alien, mean that
Mm-hmm.
you born outside of the um, Commonwealth, they teach you as they call you an alien, and then you are nationalized as a citizen of Barbados. So if you're born in the Commonwealth countries, you register as a citizen. Outside the Commonwealth, you're nationalized as a citizen. But any of those people can is as a citizen and they have the same rights. The only people, as I said, that are born in Barbados but do not become citizens are citizens of diplomats, and I mean accredited diplomats, because I hear, for instance, I hear people calling people Ambassador Thompson and Ambassador Gabby and Ambassador Commission. You are not an ambassador at home.
No, you can't. No.
You know, so when I see it in the paper and I hear the newspaper, I feel that they're illiterate. You cannot be an ambassador home. You're an ambassador to a another country. You
Mm-hmm.
are not an ambassador, and if you are accredited as the ambassador, then you get a diplomatic immunity, so that they
Mm-hmm.
can't even try you in Barbados if you kill somebody. If you kill somebody in Barbados and you're the ambassador, they will have to send you back home, and the people they will try you if they feel like. So
Mm-hmm.
get it straight. You are born in Barbados, automatically you're a citizen of Barbados. So don't let anybody fool you and tell you that they can take away your rights as a citizen. They're attempting to, but this act cannot do so, because this act was passed without a constitutional amending a majority, because it must say so. If even though you have all 30 seats in Parliament, and you want to amend legislation or alter the Constitution anyway, by a piece of legislation, it has to say that in the beginning, and then it has to be put by the President of the Senate or the Speaker of the House and the Speaker of the House, and then 2/3 of the members of each house have to vote for it. So even though people are frightened and there's nothing to be afraid of, this state cannot make you a non-citizen. They are trying to fool you to make you believe and tell you that you can't get certain rights. Your rights as a citizen of Barbados does not come because you have a piece of ID card. It has because you were born here. And I am born in Barbados. Now, I am not unknown in Barbados. So if I don't have a national ID, somebody will say, man, this guy's very frightening that run over that body on the road just now with his car. Are you going to say, well, I'm going to ID so it can't be me? No, it's stupid. People will be able to identify you. So when you go to the bank, your teller can say, oh, I know him. But now they insisted that you get ID card. ID card is only supposed to identify you. That's all the ID card is supposed to do. I went to a supermarket the other day and I signed a document and it was featured to my ID and the cashier said, Mr. Franklin, everybody here know you. You know, you want an ID card? And I put the thing back in my pocket. You know, because I was feeling true. It was in my pocket, but you know when you wear shirt jacks, you got four pockets in here and then three by your pants and things. So you had enough pockets to search. And she said, Mr. Franklin, everybody here know you. And so I didn't bother to have the ID card because she knew who I was. So that's what ID card is only supposed to identify you. Everybody know who you are. You think somebody in Barbados don't know that any of us here are citizens of Barbados? So that these politicians fool you. They are guided by the people on the outside world because we are the guinea pigs for this system. Everything that Mayor Motley has done in Barbados, when she brings it back from the overseas, is to make us guinea pigs. I will never forget that. You know what? We were the guinea pigs for that. Because it was not being used in the country that it was manufactured or developed and then subsequently manufactured. It was used in Barbados first. We were the first to use it. And when they offered something to Rolly said, no, thanks, you use it. You remember? I hope you all remember that. Rolly rejected it. Rolly rejected it because he wanted to see everybody going to die too. And only Clown Princess decide that they're going to use it on Barbadians and try to convince us. And when I refused to take it, and I tell the people in Barbados, when they said to me that, they sent me an email telling me that my appointment for my Lara Court at 1 o'clock. I went on the radio and I said, I ain't even passing there at 1 o'clock. Boy, and she got bad at the press conference later on the day because before they said, but no, Kaz, you ain't taking none. I ain't taking it. I refuse to take any of them. And thankfully, I might die from something. And I will die from something, but it won't be that. Because too many bages, we have too many excess deaths here. And Colin Jordan identified the number on Brass Tack Sunday back in, it was June. And nobody, the media did not pick it up. That is why I don't care about them. And I don't have any respect for them because they only print the news that people allow them to print. You know, and they only take the advertising that the people want. But let me tell you something. Our march will be successful with or without the Barbados today. If, and mind you, they will come on, if they come on the march to get news, already they can't come and talk to me. I banned them already.
I banned them on.
I have nothing to say to them. If you come to me and say, oh, I am John Smith from Barbados today, I'm saying, I'm very sorry, I'm not speaking to you. You know, and that is what I will continue to do. And I had one reason before, now I got two.
Yeah.
We have to stand up for ourselves. We have to stand for our people. I went to the supermarket this evening, and the staff were telling me, man, when you going to come in here, the people treated me real bad. You know, the best bring on this man from Canada, and he treated me rough already, you know. He making cashiers go in the bathroom and clean the bathrooms and all kinds of things, you know. Yeah. In Barbados, I know the advertising for another one to come down because they want assistant store manager cost you less they talking about. I didn't know that until today.
Okay.
You know, that's sometimes, so you know I ain't getting back there no more.
Yeah.
But they just have to do that. and to show you that we will support our own and we will take care of our own.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Up up to
yeah,
up to
hold on a minute. I'm
today.
going to take a Winston, we are running out
Yeah.
of time, but so I want you to just give a final thrust, talk to the people again about coming out on Saturday, and why they should come out and how they can help us to promote as well. Go ahead. Over to you, Winston.
Yeah. I want to say again that each and every one of you who is listening here, the last time I saw the number, they were 500 and something. Um, I want you to put on your social media pages the date, time, venue of the march. Okay, of the march on Saturday, because this is very important to each and every one of us. The same way they were speaking about us causing certain things to happen when we didn't take certain things, and then they found out that we were true, we were right all the time. Let us show them that we are continuing to be right. All right, and let us continue, and all your friends, your family, your acquaintances, the people on the road, the people at work, ask them, come. You understand? Come out. What I want to do is I want to make sure that I have more than a certain amount of people there, because I know that they look at the numbers and they want to comment on that, right? But this in particular will be a success. This in particular, I
Yeah,
want it on Instagram, Telegram, Facebook, Snapchat, WhatsApp. I want it every single place. Twitter, everywhere you can place this ad right here. No mandatory digital ID. Put it up, copy it, paste it, copy it, post it, do whatever is necessary, because this is important to us as our freedoms, our privacy, our right of choice. You understand? This is important to each, not only to us, but our children and our children's children. Okay? And I can be quite frank with you, right? Hey, look, I keep passing and looking at that monument they built in town, and more every day, right? And I see the rusty chains. It looked to me like shackles. It looked to me like fetters. It looked to me like handcuffs. It looked as if it's a symbol of slavery, that they're enslaving us back again. You understand? And we got to do something about this. We have to do something about this. So let Saturday be the first step. All right? Let us all
yes,
please come up, each and every one. Okay?
yes,
Please. I
yes,
beg
yes.
you for this one.
Yes,
Marcia,
thank
let
you.
me just say,
Thank
but
you, Winston.
we are not the only people who are not getting any coverage. My information is that not a doctor turned up today at Brantford Polyclinic. No
Whoa.
news coverage, no nothing. You
Whoa.
know, nothing. You know, because they have what they. I remember I complained a couple of days ago about what these people call locums, when we don't have a locum in our law in Barbados because they
Hmm.
don't want to pay the doctors. Well, they didn't pay these doctors,
Mm.
and the doctors start home. And let me tell a fella nothing. The newspapers didn't bring it. Nobody didn't nothing.
Yeah.
So but I breaking it here now. Breaking news. Bradford
Wow.
Polyclinic did not have a single doctor. As a matter of fact, only one doctor turned up for a week so far. But he ain't turned up today. And they had no doctors. But I'll tell you
Wow. For
something. If
the
it was
entire
Caswell
day.
asking, yeah, yeah. If it was Caswell who tell the nurses to come up, because I mean it would be, they would have criticized us and stuff. But they're hushing this down because they're treating the doctors real bad. You know, they're treating those young doctors really badly. You know, I wouldn't. You wouldn't want your daughter or son to be a doctor in Barbados, no, to come and work for the government.
Wow. I tell you,
It
yeah.
is as bad as that, you know. Oh, and
You know,
by the way, Marcia, while we were talking, somebody sent me a thing and told me Vic Fernandez is a member of the board of Barbados today. I don't know if that has any relevance, but what we're talking about. But Ambassador Vic Fernandez.
Ambassador Big Finance.
So
I am
you
telling
see
you,
what's
I am telling
you see
you.
what's happening, you know. All this rubbing on
Yeah,
everybody.
it's all connected. It's all connected. Right. But thank you so much, Winston, for coming
Thank
on
you.
tonight and for
Okay.
sharing with us. And we will see you, God willing, on
On
Saturday, and
Saturday.
we're inviting
Yes, please.
everybody to come out. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Good night,
Thank you.
everyone. Good night,
Good
Yes,
night,
God
everyone.
bless.
Winston.
Have
Good
a good
night.
night.
See
Yes,
ya.
bye bye. Now, we also want to encourage people, those of you who want to donate to the cause of the march, because that's important. Somebody sent me a message and said, well, we could do radio ads, which we used to do the radio ads, but it's very costly. The radio ads, sort of, to make sense, you need probably about $6,000 for it to make sense to run it between, say, Wednesday and Saturday. It costs a lot of money to do it. So that's why we resorted to the social media ads. So, Barbados Today, whenever they carry the ads, a lot of people would see it. So we were trying that, but I will try to do a paid ad on my Marcia Weeks Facebook page, and we'll continue on various Instagram pages and see what happens, along with you helping. And more, don't just sit and click. Put on your clothes and come out. That's how we do it. I know Kimar, we have had something to share with us tonight, which is also very important. It's just that we had so many important things to talk about. Kimar, are you still ready to do that now?
Um, yeah, I guess so. We won't have much time to really expand upon the more intimate details. So I guess for conversation purposes, we have to cut um, to speak to only one area, which is essentially Kensington Oval.
Yes.
Um, but on the show, we spoke about the Bridgetown redevelopment plan,
Hmm.
and as part of that plan was to sell from government headquarters on Bay Street. Um, this includes the same geriatric hospital that the government actually did repairs to in 2019,
Hmm.
right? So they spent the money doing repairs on this hospital, and now they're moving it into a water zone in the belt, right? So the government, a part of the thing, I remember the Kazo spoke about the Bayview Hospital, these things go hand in hand,
Hmm.
right? The government headquarters is for sale, stretching straight down to the Pierhead, which is this bridge, the swing
Come,
bridge,
come.
the Chamberlain Bridge. The government's supposed to build the Hyatt, so there's Savvy on the Bay. Uh, there's a whole plan. Traverse Way, uh, there by the Immigration Building, the Ministry of Agriculture, Pelican Village, and Kensington Oval. I'm actually hoping that the technical person could bring the pictures up so that you could get a better understanding
Yo,
of what I'm saying. But so we're gonna go through it once more again so that people really understand what is happening with Kensington Oval.
give me a match, yeah?
Uh, so recently the government announced this plan to sell the naming rights of Kensington Oval. Right, right. So we have it here on the screen. So we're just gonna brush through the zones, but I want to only speak to Kensington Oval for tonight. So what we have there is the redevelopment plan for Bridgetown mainly, right? And this document was published by the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Motley, right? So she, in her bid, and she called it an investment forum that happened around April 2019, right? And in this investment forum, the government parceled out a couple of plots of land to be included in what you call a zone, right? So if the technical guide come down to page 6, which says Greater Carolina Bay and Bridgetown, you will see, right there, you will see the entire map of where the government plans to sell out, basically. They call it investment, right? But it's not really, they're selling all of these plots, right? So you can see starting from the Garrison Savannah, right? Straight down to Kensington Oval. The Garrison Savannah is the biggest green plot you can see at the bottom of the screen. Right. You're almost, yeah, right there. If you could get it in a little more, that we could see. But this whole area here is where the government intends to sell. Oh, so where you can see the big playing field at the bottom, that area is the Garrison Savannah. And let's remember that the government has already announced that they will be selling the BDF headquarters. You know, the Prime Minister announced that they will be selling the BDF headquarters for hotel purposes. Right? Remember that the government left out the Garrison Savannah out of the Independence Parade, right? Because the government is trying to destroy independence. So they don't want for the Garrison Savannah to be developed in any serious way, because that holds significant political history for us in terms of independence. So that is where they're selling the BDF headquarters. And they didn't tell us, but they are going to sell the Garrison Savannah much as they would have done with Kensington Oval. And I could bet you it is going to be sold through the auspices of the Barbados Turf Club, right? And they are going to say that the Turf Club is ripe for investment, and the Turf Club wants upgrades to the Garrison Savannah, and the Turf Club wants this, and the Turf Club wants that, and the Turf Club has lined up X amount of $1 million in investment to upgrade the Garrison Savannah, right? If you know, the Arabs are actually some of the biggest investors in the world as it relates to horse racing. So you heard Maxine on the show speaking about the fact that the Arabs were not too impressed with Sandy Lane, and that Sandy Lane was but a small boutique hotel compared to what the Arabs want, right? I could bet you top dollar that the Arabs are most likely the ones who are going to end up with the BDF base and trying to put a hotel there so that they could sit in their sky towers and watch horse racing from that new hotel that they're going to build, because they're going to invest through the Turf Club millions of dollars into the Garrison Savannah, and the Garrison is going to be sold, although it is a historical site, World UNESCO hit. They don't care about that. They don't care about anything like that, right? So you're going to see the Garrison being sold along with the BDF hotel, right? So come on, when we come down, there are a couple of areas strategically that they are marked out, right? And these areas are, if my technical guy can't come down, or you come down to the area that gives a list of sites in Bridgetown to be redeveloped, right? So that is on page 24. On page 24, you will see 7 strategic areas for reinvestment in Barbados. Right? Remember, this is an official document, an investors forum that was hosted by the Prime Minister of Barbados.
That's on page
One more,
24, you're saying?
Yes, one more click downward. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Needham's Point. There are three sites within that area for development. You have Gemma's Lane, right? This is where Savvy on the Bay is, right? Because they intend to put a hotel on the property where the Ministry of Health, the old Ministry of Health was, which is across the road from Savvy on the Bay. So they were trying to destroy Savvy on the Bay because they already promised, and this document has the information, they already promised the investors in that hotel that they would be given control over it, right? But the guy who built Savvy on the Bay, he did not have the requisite permission to do what he did with it. So that's why they're coming after him because he didn't have the adequate permission, right? Plus two, he went ahead of himself because the government already sold out the land and they know that they don't want black people, I say, black entrepreneurs to be selling on no beachfront in Barbados, right? So that is where they're going to destroy Savvy on the Bay, right? And you're going to see it. We're going to show you the picture exactly, but we don't have the time to really expand, but we're just going to show you the picture as we scroll through. You have the pier head, right? Then you have, don't forget that the government took away Miss Ram's land
Mm-hmm.
forcibly, right? And all of those people, even the people over by Laurie Dash, all of the people that live along Bay Street, they're supposed to move, because at Bethel Church, which is just across the road from the Coles building, they have already written the residents there in terms of subdividing land to get the people to move, right? Don't forget that. Do not forget that the government also was interested in giving the Empire Hotel to a developer, the same developer that the government took away Miss Ram's land for. And they were promising him that he could have developed the Empire Theater, right? They built a park next door because this park goes hand in hand with the Impending Hyatt, right? So all of those buildings that you see in there are going to be moved, especially they're going to be lit down. Where you see like Days bookstore that is moving
Yeah.
miraculously, right? The National Library probably is going to be moved
Right.
again, right? The Lottery building, that building has a for sale sign on it, right? And I don't know if you guys know, but the people who live along Bay Street, you know that they charge those people commercial land tax rates, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're not charged residential, they're charged commercial land tax rates. So although you may live there in the house, you still got to pay the commercial rate. So as a person who may not have the wherewithal, you as a resident have to compete with the commercial sector and paying the same rate. That is wicked, right? But that is the government we have. So when you go down past the Pier Head project, the government actually moved all of those party boats, like the MV Dream Chaser and the
Right.
Buccaneer and the Inspire. They moved and told those people, those boat operators, right, that they have to move, right? And they shoved them in a small space over there by the helipad, not even operational for them, right? The guy, African, if that's what is his name, African,
Mhm.
that owned the Marina Bar restaurant, they just marched in and took up his property,
Yes, I saw. Yes. Mm-hmm.
right? And they have the property right there fenced around. They have it fenced around, right? And they put all of the people out because they were intended to sell all of it. And you can see it right here, right? So you have Hank Street, I have Traverse Way, you can see Kensington Oval, and then
Yes.
government headquarters. I'm sure you can see it right here, Kensington Oval, big and bold, right? So I gonna ask
Oh,
my guy now to come down to page
And you know, while you're doing that, I remember people need to remember that they heard months ago. Kimar told you about Kensington Oval months ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I want you to come straight down to page 109. Right? 109. I'm going to show you how crafty these people feel that they are. 109. Where it says Kensington Oval, the opportunity. Remember, this was a document straight from the Prime Minister of Barbados. Right? Kensington Oval, strategic reinvestment area. The sports and recreation magnet, both of Kensington Oval Stadium and Cricket Legends of Barbados Museum, combined with the water recreation potential of the shallow draft, offer a unique hotel slash tourism development opportunity on the 4.6-acre site.
Mhm.
A hotel recreation amenity mid-rise development can be set against the beach and the dock
Mhm.
front of the shallow draft, well being a 5-minute walk to the Kensington Oval facilities. Now, for those persons who may follow like football in England, like at the Wembley and those big stadiums, right? You would know that these big stadiums have hotels right outside of them, right?
Mhm.
These big stadiums have their lodging, so they don't have to go to any special hotels. So what the vision here is to develop the shallow draft, right?
Yes.
Which is where I don't know if many people go to crop over, but at crop over on the top of Spring Garden, right opposite the gas station, you have
Yes.
the army and those people standing up there with the guns.
Mhm.
That area right there, which is a government property, like a building called Central Purchasing, the government is intended to sell that for a hotel, right? So the area, I don't know if many of you went on the Atlantis submarine or on the Harbor Master back in the days, or any of those catamarans. The government is intended to develop that entire area, right? So that people can come in with their big yachts, get up the yachts, and go straight into the hotel, right? And then from straight into the hotel, straight into Kensington, right? So you can see right here on the screen where you have the little trees and everything. That is where the hotel is supposed to go, right? And then you can see the water right there. Then you can see the water here, which
Mhm.
is where the harbor master used to dock.
Right.
They're gonna develop all of these types of berths and all of these big investments and everything, right? Probably through the same African Exim Bank, right? The same African Exim Bank has put aside $100 million to invest in the expansion of the Bridgetown port, right? This is the same African Exim Bank that is loaning the government $50 million to get the naming rights for Kensington,
Mhm.
right? So you're seeing it, right? So it says here now, if you go on to page 100 now and 11, right? 111, right here. Look at the development site on that side, right? This is part of what they're showing you in terms of that line, right? But if you come to the next slide, which says placemaking and public realm, Kensington Oval, Fontebelle streetscape improvement, enhance local public realm surrounding Kensington Oval, enhance connections between Shallow Draft and Kensington Oval. So you see it right there, right? New boardwalk along the Shallow Draft,
Mhm.
right? So if my guy can scroll around that the people can actually see numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So scroll down a bit. Look at it right there, right? Now you can see the total development area because the numbers, right? Look at the numbers All of it shows you right there, Kensington Oval, right at number 2. Right? So Kensington Oval is included in the development plan for the hotel. Right? But they're giving you the impression that the investors were just buying the naming rights. They're getting more than the naming rights. Right? Because the government intended, or they're using that site, which is the Independent Hotel by the Shallow Draft, as a crutch or proxy to pimp up Kensington Oval, right? Because remember, the government still probably has not paid back all of those loans from World Cup 2007. Right? So when the government, right, intends to expand Kensington Oval, those people that Ornafa was planning to move back the time when he first built Kensington Oval, those people who live but this is the city constituency, but those people who live like down to the 10th Avenue, New
Right.
Orleans, and those places, Edmonton, right on behind Kensington, all of those people are going to be moved because the government is going to expand Kensington Oval to that of the international stadium that is multi-purpose. So they're going to build it for football purposes that they can host big matches, right? They're
Mhm.
going to continue to invest in it for cricket, right? They're probably going to put a hockey thing in there as well, right? To make it as multi-purpose as possible because they have to make back the money, you know. Don't think that this loan is just coming free. They know got to play cricket. They
Mhm.
know got to throw facts, right? They know how to do things. And with the state of West Indies cricket, I don't know if they're getting back the money anytime soon, right? But the point here is Kensington Oval does not produce enough revenue for the government to earn any significant return on investment, right? So look at what they did. Merge all of it into one, right? You have Kensington on one side. Because think about it. They're saying that, oh, well, are you going to invest, Marcia, as a hotelier? Are you going to invest your money into decorating Kensington Oval without anything in return?
Correct.
No, right? So the $100 million that is coming from the African Exim Bank to develop the shallow draft and to develop the Bridgetown port, plus another $50 million that is going into Kensington Oval. Don't you eventually see an outright sale of Kensington Oval? I look at this right here, Marcia. It is right here for the people to see that the government has included Kensington in a zone for redevelopment to be selling off to
Mhm.
big investors.
Yeah, because they're advertising it as a business opportunity. This is the opportunity to do this.
Yes.
And yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
let me tell you all something. See, I'm looking at this map, and I'm looking at the drug entry point for Barbados for the rich and famous, like the got down Port St. Charles and Port Ferdinand. That they want to move the customs officers down there so that the people can come in with the door but offload it, and then when the customs get down there, everything because they want to move, have the customs officers to be roving officers. They don't be stationed there anymore. And this is the point where the drugs can come in because this is a national security situation here. You don't want a hotel there. This is the harbor where people can come in. You want immigration control there. You want all kind of stuff coming there. And I ain't seeing those kind of mentions because the people don't want immigration. They want law-abiding people. They want to have their mafia to come and do these things and to use Barbados as a transit point. That is what that when you look and you see the it's this sketch here, this map.
Yeah.
This frightens me. I'm worried about this. I do not want to be able to know that these people can come in and out of our main, but just because the Charles Draft is just supposed to port there, is it part of the port? So, what we developing this hotel at this point doesn't make sense. Well, it makes sense if you want to be a crook, but where they come up with these things from? This is certainly not coming from locals. You know, this is something that comes from outside. People want to take over Barbados and keep we in the interior. You remember, as a little boy, they used to tell keep away from St. James because the people would, that's the start black people going on there. You know, they don't want black people, and black people were frightened for that activity. So they used to tell you, well, if you go down there, they will do that to you. But now they're actually going to be building structures to make sure you can get to the coast. All along the coast is being taken away from Bajans. That beach is mine. Well, not the coast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where is Gabby when you need him? Where is Gabby when you need him?
Oh,
But anyway,
writing nonsense on Facebook and thing. He and the ambassador. Because just before we finish, I won't mention him because he started talking nonsense. But go ahead, Kimura. Sorry.
yes,
Yeah.
right.
Well, no, Gabby is somebody who's from Emerton, right? And those people in Pittway who live right on behind Kansas, they're going to be moved, right? Somebody asked about the people along Nelson Street. They're going to be moved. Do you know that the government plans to move all of the people from a London born towards the city, right? To demolish those buildings, to build condos and high rises because they're saying that the people in Nelson Street, London born towers, and those areas are prime real estate, extremely close proximity to the beach. So they want to move out those people to sell off the land to the rich, right? And London born towers are the target. And they want to move those people from London born towers into the old treasury building that was shut down with mold, that was deemed to not be fit for workers to be in it. But they are moving the people from London born towers in the comfort of their homes to be going into a rat infested building in the treasury building. Not
But
only
worse than that, Kimura, the Treasury building had a problem with the carbon monoxide from the vehicles that pass around there every day because half the cars that pass coming to Bridgetown pass there.
Mhm.
So and when you suggest take the fumes of the cars and push it up inside, that was what was making a lot of people sick. So they know that this is not unknown to the government. So why would they want to put poor black people in that building and put the rich people up there so they can get the fresh air coming off the sea? These people need to go, and they need to
Mhm.
go sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Well, that is not all, right? We need to the old immigration building, right? Where the Ministry of Agriculture is. That they sold that too, right? Make matters worse. Don't forget that Ralph Thorne had to sit at a town hall meeting. And from what he was not informed about it, right? That the government intends to sell the whole of St. Lawrence Gap to build a marina, right?
Yeah, the people they know that they want to move the church. They want to even move the church. The Anglican church up there.
Yeah,
They want to cut that too.
right. And
You think these people sweet?
they are putting the Coast Guard, they are moving the Coast Guard because they plan to expand the Bridgetown port straight down to the Coast Guard base. So they are moving the Coast Guard of Barbados from where it is right now on Spring Garden Highway back up into Christchurch because the same ferry system and the routes, as well, they intend to develop Oistins as a place to dock oil and fishing and the like because they intend to take over Oistin. That is why they're trying to get rid of Ralph Thorne because that's watch the connection here now. They want to put Chantal Monroe Night in Christchurch South, right, which houses Oistins, the city, the town, right. But you're hearing all this talk about developing climate resilient this and climate smart that, right? Then you're hearing about developing a ferry system, right? Then you're hearing about developing shipping routes. And so they want to develop Oistins as a strategic porting point between Trinidad, Guyana, Suriname, and Venezuela, right? So they are going to pour so much money in Oistins, which is a city area. That's where they want to get rid of Ralph because they don't want Ralph included in that, right? they are going to pour so much money in Bridgetown, right? So that is where they put somebody like Corey in, and they're also trying to push Adrian Medic out to put Corey as the Minister of Environment because climate change and the Ministry of Environment go hand in hand. And you can see based on this the redevelopment plan for Bridgetown, where they put somebody like Corey in the city, right? Because they intend to because the Bridgetown port is in the city, right? So they put him in Bridgetown, right? So Colin Jordan now needs to watch himself, right? As the man who Spike Stone is in his constituency, he needs to either walk or he be out because the premise is going to put her people who are invested in this climate agenda and climate change because they're
Mhm.
going to redevelop all of the cities in Bridge, all of the areas that have strategic port points in them, as Caswell said. They're going to try to take serious control over because they intend to expand all of these port things for fisheries, or they discuss the fisheries, right? Logistics and trade, right?
Mm.
So, as I said, the strategic port points are stays, Bridgetown, Spikestone, right? And you saw them redevelop the Spikestone jetty.
Right.
You even saw the harbor master now docking in
Mm-hmm.
Spikestone. So all of these are test runs so that when they do what they have to do in terms of bringing all of these ships into Barbados, to when eventually they put in the manifesto of the BLP 2018 that they were going to build islands off this country. Remember that?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Listen, listen. Kimar, I am so because we had the march. Okay, this we have the march. We had a situation up with Barbados today. We had quite a few little things. We had to push the march. We didn't get to go into this as much. But if you can hold this as a baby for us, and we even we inch away at it, and because sometimes too it's good to give it in bite size, and we move again, right, and build and move again, because we are 4 minutes before 10. But I can tell you people are involved in it, and I'm interested in what you're saying, because some of these things you said them already and we're seeing them. It's almost like you're a prophet. But we're actually seeing them coming to pass. And people want to know where they can find this document. Can they find it online, Kimar?
You're gonna find it online. um, I can't tell you where to get it from per se. I just know that I got it.
Yeah,
uh,
okay.
if you want it, Mark, just speak to Marcia. I sure she could accommodate anybody who wants to get their hands on it.
Hmm.
But sometimes these things do fall off the back of trucks, and uh, you just have to take it as that sometimes.
Somebody said the program is not long enough. Oh my goodness. But it's 3 hours, Gary. But because it's so much education, it is so much education. There were other topics that I prepared as well. I wanted to talk about the spiritual advisors, and we didn't get to touch that at all. And I'm sure there were things that Caswell wanted to talk about as well. We're going to have to tackle those on Friday. But I want to just to say about the march that we still need at least $2,300 still needed. There are monies that have been promised, but we haven't gotten them yet. So just based on what I have in hand, we need about 2,300. We're asking people to contact us. There's a number, my number by now, but I'm going to put it up again that you can WhatsApp me. If you want to make a donation, we can collect from MoneyGram and Western Union. Caswell is muted. And if anybody wants to help us to cover the expenses, we would really, really appreciate that. We also have coming up on the 21st of January 21st, we have a special showing of Barrow And believe it or not, Mr. Franklin, we went and got, we went down to NCC and filled out the form. And we did everything again. And the person there, she said, well, I don't see why they would have done this to you all. But this time around, this is what I told my husband. I said, if when I come and I announce it on here, they take it back from us, Mr. Franklin, I will create a stink in this country. I told him the only thing I'm not going to do is to put my dress over my head. He was dying with laughter. But I am saying to you all that this is not going to go like this. It's not going to go down. And I had a talk with them today, and I will have a talk with those wonderful people that dealt with me, because it's not the people at the bottom. You have Mr. Teddy there and also Miss Holder. It's not them. Well, they normally get a call. They get a call from above to take it from us. So we're trying to get into Independence Square to have a screening there. That there's some other screenings that we're planning as we work them out. We will tell you. But that is our January 21st in the evening, right? So listen out for that. All right, Mr. Franklin, any final words?
Yes, I just want to take my final words on something I saw in the paper today. This morning, I was roused from my bed by a call from an attorney who pointed out to me that David Comishong was trying to negate what we were saying with the gifts and the integrity. He out there defending it, and his last line says, what was she supposed to make a report of this gift to a non-existent integrity commission? I just don't get it. I asked him. Now I heard that he's a lawyer, and when I was speaking to this attorney this morning, I asked him, "Tell me something." He went to law school. He told me yes. I said, "You saw him there?" Because I couldn't believe that he went to law school. He said, he didn't see him there, but he knows a person that said that they were there with him. So I don't believe that a person who forget that this Integrity in Public Life Act that was passed but not proclaimed is the only piece of legislation that can punish a politician for breaching the law. We have the 1929, long before he was here, 1929 Prevention of Corruption Act. He made no mention of that. This article is so dishonest. It is unbecoming of anybody who register for law school, not even went. I don't believe that a person could be so thing. But this is a guy who tried to block the Hyatt from being built, and because it would cast a shadow on his father's grave. So that was one of the reasons given in the court. So he would say anything and do anything to please his masters. I would advise the people of Barbados to ignore him. He is discredited, and he is, matter of fact, he has discredited himself because people once thought that he had some sort of integrity. That was a thought loss. So do not go around pretending, because they tell me that May is his cousin, and he's doing anything and everything to protect him. Remember, I told you that he tried. He told me that he didn't oppose the Hyatt really. He just tried to stop those fellas from getting any investment. He was blocking. He's a traitor to this country. You can go on
Tell you.
Facebook and curse me after, though. I don't care. They do that all the time. Anyhow, good night, and
Yeah.
please come out and march with us. You need you. We
Yeah.
need you, and you need you.
Yeah.
Come out
Yeah.
and let the government see that you are not as dumb as they think you are.
Yeah. I'm also just want to remind everybody that I am on tomorrow with Justin Robinson. Thursday. We don't have a show on Thursday,
Yes.
but we having a special Economy Thursdays, where we'll be chatting with Pro Vice Chancellor and Professor and Principal at the University of the West Indies Five Island campus in Antigua. As you know, Professor Robinson is a member of the board of the Central Bank of Barbados as well, and he has contributed significantly to the public space. So we're going to be on tomorrow, same time, 7 o'clock. Uh, I look forward to seeing you there as we be going through the debt of Barbados, the IMF, the upcoming budget, and any other issues that may be raised. Yes, it will be online on YouTube. Alternate Views will be the page, the same page that we
Yes,
were
go to
on.
alternate, and some of them would have remembered it from when we were on alternate views. So yes, go ahead, Kimar.
Yeah. Yeah, so just remember to tune in tomorrow. No, tomorrow is not usually a day we are on the Marcy Week show. Uh, so just stick it in your minds. Remember, as I'm sure that many of you will want to hear what is being said about the Barbados economy and the debt.
Correct. Because a lot of them were asking questions. Tomorrow I don't have class tomorrow, so I'll be logged on tomorrow. On Thursdays I generally have class, but to my classes will not start until next week Thursday. So I will definitely be logged on. Thank you all so very very much, guys, and we are going to see you again on Friday on the Marcia Week Show. God bless you and have a good night.
Good night.
Good night. Bye bye.